That's right. It's the show. It's Amy and it's Chris with you until 1 o'clock today, until the Dave Glover show takes over. But guess what? You get an extra treat from 1 to 2 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday. What's that treat? Well, you get more Amy and me.
It's great. What a
we
great
hang out with the Glover
treat.
show.
Yeah, we do.
Which is a lot of fun. It's a really, really good time.
Okay, yeah.
So hold on a second. Listen, bunch of flights this morning, thousands of flights were delayed. Many hundreds were canceled as well because of a problem with the FAA computer system.
Yep.
Southwest can say it's not our fault this time because it was not their fault. This was nationwide. It happened to every airline and every airport, and it was a very, very big deal. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. We have much bigger news today.
We do.
We have some huge news, and it occurred. We watched the news unfold in front of our faces.
We were there. We were eyewitnesses. One of only a handful of people who saw this. I just think if you are standing, maybe sit down. If you're driving, you can pull over.
You can pull over. Highly recommend pulling over for this news, especially if you're the person driving the tow truck, because we have been telling you about the plight of the abandoned, heavily damaged vehicle that has been sitting outside of this really nice coffee bar, Catalyst Coffee, right downtown St. Louis. This car had clearly been broadsided. It wasn't one of those small dents, like somebody kicked your car. It was a huge dent that almost took out both doors. It was big, right?
I don't even know if it was a dent. It was caved in.
It was caved in.
It was caved in, yeah.
It has been sitting out there for a good 3 months.
Yes.
2.5, 3 months. The estimates range all the way to 4 months.
Yeah. Emotionally, it feels like 7.
It feels like it's been there forever.
And again, you mentioned it's outside Catalyst Coffee Bar in the heart of downtown in view of
right
the
across
Soldiers
from the Soldiers Memorial.
And also in view of City Hall.
Yes. We decided as a show that we would start to decorate the car.
The car was our cause. It was our passion.
Yeah.
You have to have a passion. You have to have something that speaks to your heart, something that motivates and drives you every morning. Not drives you because this car doesn't drive anymore. But I mean, metaphorically speaking, figuratively speaking. And this car was our cause.
It was our cause. I mean, you could pick the American Lung Association. You could pick all kinds of other great organizations out there. We picked this car. And this car, we decided we would decorate it with a new item every day until it got towed.
Now, Ranji hated the slogan. I liked the slogan, from blight to delight.
Which is how people at the coffee shop yesterday, they were delighted.
They were delighted.
Watching us decorate that thing.
Gold garland.
Yeah.
It represented
Mardi Gras beads.
Mardi Gras beads. It represented St. Louis as St. Louis Blues rally towel.
Yeah. A Redbirds hat.
Yep.
Illinois State Redbirds, whatever. We put all kinds of great stuff on it.
The car had Illinois plates.
We had plans for the car.
Yeah.
We had plans for that car because we wanted to beautify it.
And today was my turn to bring a unique, ornate decoration.
You did.
And I brought a star, and it was a gold
treetop
star, treetopper star, and it lit up.
It lit up. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
So Amy and I go downstairs to put the ornament on the car because we're going to continue the decoration. The plan was to do it until I assumed it was going to be another several weeks.
Yeah.
Turn the corner and the tow truck is hooking it up.
No.
And as we walked toward it, so we see the tow truck, and it took a minute to register for me. Like, wait, oh my gosh, that tow truck is for that car.
Yeah.
And he pulled out immediately. So we saw the tow happening in real time. The car's gone. So it is it's kind of sad for me. I don't know how you feel about it, Amy, but it's sad for me because I was growing to love the car.
It felt like part of our city.
It did.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the problem, is that it's part of our city.
Yeah.
And I know that we joked about this yesterday, and we've talked about it a lot. It's silly. It seems stupid, but it shouldn't take this much effort to get an eyesore. A car that it had Illinois plates, by the way. It didn't even have in-state plates.
Not even our state.
So somebody brought it over from Illinois and abandoned it here, and it's been here for months. It sounds stupid that we talked about it for as long as we did, and we made a joke about it for as long as we did, but it's kind of not stupid. It's not stupid that in the heart of a major metropolitan city, a downtown, as you said, right across from the Soldiers Memorial, just a couple of blocks away from Enterprise Center.
City Hall right
is
there.
here. To have an abandoned vehicle that is heavily damaged just sit there
just
for
a piece
months.
of junk. Giant piece of junk. And it's not like they didn't know about it. Multiple people, whether it was Catalyst Coffee Shop, residents who live in the building, this building where the car was parked, to all of the tickets, the parking tickets that were on this car. Like, that even amazed me that we're going to keep writing tickets. It's obvious the ticket's not being dealt with.
Right.
Yeah, the ticket's not. You're not going to motivate someone to move this car by adding to the pile of tickets that were on this car.
But it's a symptom of what I believe is a greater problem with the area. And you can call it, I don't know if it's governmental incompetence. I don't know if it's short staffing. I don't know what exactly it is. But it seems like when small things like that can slip through and not get dealt with, fairly easy things to get dealt with, by the way. And I know this is not the only place. This area is not the only place that has abandoned vehicles. They're all over the city. I'm sure of it.
Well, we had people on our Twitter at the show KMOX were sending us pictures of abandoned vehicles that were on the road for months. One, I think it was on Twitter. A guy said there was a car like that was on Skinker. And I think that was the car maybe a year or two ago, maybe longer. It had obviously caught on fire.
And they just left it?
And they left it for a while.
Skinker and what?
Skinker along Forest Park.
Oh, okay. See, like that has to be dealt with properly, and it has to be dealt with quickly. And it is a symptom of a much larger issue with the city. And you think it doesn't matter, but it kind of does. And we have used this as an example before. When people visit, whether it's from the burbs or whether it's from another city, and they see something like that, they think, "Oh, that's kind of gross." Like that's what downtown St. Louis is. Like, that's not the image you want to present to people, because something simple like that may influence whether or not that person ever comes back. And I think that's a very big deal.
Yeah. Well, and it gives the appearance that we just don't care.
Right.
That the city doesn't care. We talked about the sense of lawlessness that we do experience on a daily basis, just whether it's the expired tags or people running red lights, which really don't mean anything in the city, people crossing the street whenever. It's interesting that for so few people and so few cars that are downtown, you have to have your head on a swivel when you drive, because you just have to assume red lights, green lights, those don't mean anything. And there's just a sense that anything goes. I mean, I feel like a jerk. I know I can drive like a maniac downtown without any consequences. I know I could. If I really wanted to, just pull U-turns, drive through red lights, and I mean, nothing's really going to happen. That's a bad message to send.
It's not a place I don't think any of us want to live in. And I know there are people who live in this area who have just kind of thrown their hands up as it pertains to the city itself or downtown and just said, you know what, I'm done with it. I don't care. But they should. Everybody in this area should care. Not care just enough to mock it or to deride it. I mean, care enough to want to help make it better. Like, we should want this to be better. You've heard the old cliche. I've used it. I've heard a bunch of other people use it. Can't be a suburb of nowhere, right? Like, you have to have a strong central part of your city. And I think stuff like this matters. It is just a symptom of a much larger problem. It's not unsalvageable, though.
Yeah.
This city is not beyond saving. It can be improved. And there are a lot of people in this area who really want to do and have been doing good work to improve St. Louis. It just needs to continue, and I think it needs more help from a lot of other people. But we got to start with the simple stuff. And the simple stuff is tow a damn car when it's clearly totaled.
Yes.
And it's right downtown. Like, get rid of it, because it's broken windows theory, right?
Yeah.
It's when you see broken windows in a neighborhood, you assume, okay, this neighborhood is garbage. It's trash. So you want to fix these things, and they're very easily fixable.
Yeah. Show people that you care. Although we did talk to Ryan at Catalyst Coffee.
Yeah.
And Harvey Dent.
Oh, he had
that's the name of the car.
He had given it a nickname.
Yep, that was their mascot. Yeah, their mascot at Catalyst Coffee is gone.
And really, that's the other thing. On that street,
mm-hmm.
that is the only business for like 4 blocks.
I know.
And this car was right out front of it.
And there are very few coffee shops downtown. Very few. You have Catalyst Coffee, which is also part of St. Louis Arts.
Yes.
Yes. And so it's like a nonprofit, I think, because the money also goes to the arts.
Right.
And you have a piece of junk, a totaled car parked right outside of the one coffee shop downtown.
Which I would think if you're the city, you would be like, okay, let's not do this to this business. Yeah. I know it's a nonprofit. I think you're right. It is a nonprofit. Like, let's take care of this. Come on. What are we doing here? Anyway, the car's gone. And now, in a way, I'm a little sad.
Pretty sad. I'm sad because I just think the tree topper gold star that blinks, like it twinkles.
Yeah, it twinkles.
It twinkles. I would have looked really, really nice.
And just imagine if we could have done this for another 3 months.
You would have been a beautiful.
That car would have, you wouldn't have been able to see the dent.
No, you wouldn't be able to see. You know what? I think it would be like the arch and that car. Those would be the symbols.
That car would be on
the
postcards.
It would.
So rest in peace, car. Yeah. We actually need to find where the car is and see if we can get it out of tow.
Put it back in front of Catalyst.
Let's go. Call the city. Yeah. Call 411 or is it 311?
4, I think.
Whatever it is, call one of those numbers. Let's find out where the car is and see if we can get it out.
Towed back to Catalyst Coffee.
That would be so. They would hate us so much. My God, would that be funny?
Would we get in trouble for that?
Let's ask him.
All right.
Let's ask our boss. Lots of flights delayed this morning, and airlines and airports are back on track, but there's still going to be some delays. We will find out from Rhonda Hamnabrugge where St. Louis Lambert International Airport is and what they know about why all of this happened this morning. That's coming up later. But in regard to that story, Amy, there are a lot of questions about how it happened and what it means about the government, what it means about the airlines, and so forth. We'll discuss those things when we come back here on the show.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
When you hear Diamonds Direct, it's not just a catchy name designed to give the illusion of value. Our name is who we really are. Diamonds Direct was started by diamond cutters a quarter of a century ago. At our very core is a commitment to cut out the middleman and deliver extreme value in exquisite diamonds. Today, that's more true than ever, with our direct access to diamonds straight from the mines. Diamonds that we then cut and polish. Exquisite diamonds up to 15 and 20 carats in all shapes and sizes. It's an advantage other jewelers only dream of. By overseeing the entire process, we know for a fact Diamonds Direct is truly direct. So this year, as value becomes more important than ever, rest assured that Diamonds Direct's unique status in the world diamond market guarantees you the best no middleman direct importer price, period. And even with this extreme value promise, at Diamonds Direct, you still get an unbeatable selection, transparent education, a luxurious shopping experience, superior customer service, no compromises. It's not having a cool name or clever advertising, it's the truth. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Make the switch to green soaps and personal products, and green cleaning products for the sink and shower. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Another great one for you, ladies and gentlemen. The new joke, Uncle Sam's short form for taxes. The first line, how much did you make? The next line, send it all in.
You know, that's really not that funny, but it's what a lot of people do in retirement. They take money out of their 401k or IRA and end up sending it in when they pay the taxes. Steve All at the All Financial Group believes there's a better plan for your retirement than Uncle Sam's plan. In fact, he invites you to take the All Tax Challenge. What if your current plan included thousands of dollars in unnecessary taxes and fees? What if you're headed for higher Medicare premiums and a lower Social Security check? What if the savings you realized would allow you to retire early? Wouldn't you want to know about that now? Take the All Financial Tax Challenge and find out. There's no charge. Call Steve today at 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered by All Financial Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor in Missouri. Insurance products are offered through its affiliate, All Insurance Group, LLC, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. How many blocks can you walk before you want to sit down because of foot, ankle, knee, or low back pain?
I really just wanted to avoid staying on my feet for very long at all.
Do you hate going to work in the morning because you already know that you're going to hurt?
If you're just in pain, you're hurting, you tend to get a little distracted from what you're working on too.
Come to the Good Feet store today and try it before you buy it.
I hobbled into the Good Feet store. It's been one of the best decisions I ever made. It was an investment in life.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Start the new year on a better foot. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Live and local, this is St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores, and this time it's not Southwest's fault. So that's nice. They've got that going for them.
What do you think Southwest is feeling on a day like this? Are they like, oh, come on, not again? Or thankfully, the eyes are off us?
I think it might be that.
What do you think it is?
I think it might be that. It's kind of like, not to get political, but don't you think George W. Bush, when Trump was president, was like, see, I wasn't that bad.
Probably every president. I don't know.
I think every president was
know.
like, listen, I wasn't that bad. I think Southwest is probably feeling pretty good right now. Here's the thing. The FAA has a system called Notice to Air Missions System. And so before planes can take off, pilots have to consult this Notice to Air Missions System, right? And it lists the potential adverse impacts of flights and runway and all of that. Well, that entire system went down. It used to be phone-based, actually. Pilots had to call a dedicated phone bank, but now it's all online, and the whole system went down. And so across the country, no flights were allowed to take off. Flights could land if you were in the air, but you could not take off. There were 21,000 flights scheduled to take off today across the country, and 1,800, just over 1,800 were international flights. But by 10 a.m., they had canceled or delayed 5,000.
That's a lot. And this is a lot now for travelers over the last couple of weeks. And some of what happened with Southwest was started by the winter storms that were fairly unprecedented because they were across the country, but also their infrastructure was bad. It was old. It was outdated. It wasn't working. They had been warned about it for years, and they did nothing about it. Because now, and we did reach out to the FAA, the response we got was the same. They're pretty much telling everybody, which was normal air traffic operations are resuming gradually. Ground stop has been lifted for a while now, and they continue to look into the cause of the initial problem. And that's the key. What started it? Is it an issue of old software? Is it an issue of not enough investment over the years? Is it an issue of sheer incompetence? What is it that causes something like this?
Yeah. And to update the number, sorry, it was 6,000 flights were canceled or delayed. Most of those were cancellations, almost 1,000. Excuse me, most of those were delays, almost 1,000 were cancellations. Okay, so that's out of the way. The White House initially said that it was not, there was no evidence of a cyber attack. However,
And that was one of my first thoughts was, did somebody
Yeah.
was this a hack?
So the statement from the White House was initially that there's no evidence of a cyber attack, but President Biden has since said we don't know. He spoke to Pete Buttigieg, and apparently the Department of Transportation does not know what the cause is, so they're looking into it. And that's where it's at. Pete Buttigieg, the Department of Transportation, they're looking into what possibly could have caused this. What was your first reaction when you heard the FAA has grounded all flights?
314-436-7900. When you heard this today, I don't think, and you can text the show at that number. You can also leave us a voicemail, 314-944-1120. We're on Twitter and Instagram at the show KMOX. Bunch of different ways you can get to us, but I am curious. I'm certain that people aren't going to stop flying now. I think this is a temporary blip. They'll figure it out. There might be some temporary distrust of the FAA or a feeling of incompetence or whatever. There are probably a bunch of these, but people are going to, they're going to do air travel. It's never going to, I mean, it's not going away, but why did we get to this point? Could it have been avoided? And I think the answer to almost everything like this is yes. It probably could have been avoided. This was not a natural disaster. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. 314-436-7900. We're going to talk about the border. We haven't had a chance to get into it. Biden and his visit to the border this week. We will discuss that with Javier Palomares. He is with the Hispanic Business Council. That's next on KMOX.
When winter weather hits St. Louis, KMOX is committed to keeping you and your family safe.
Let's begin our coverage with Roger Brand. The road conditions around the state, they are covered
with up-to-the-minute forecasts.
Let's take you to the Storm Center and AccuWeather's Dean DeVore.
We're watching another area of snow and ice.
And we talk to those who know the conditions.
Dave Roan is joining us right now. He is with St. Louis County Highway Department.
Winter weather, we've got it covered, fast and live. From the dependable voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
When do you need to see an ophthalmologist? Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. Now, that's a good question. If your vision is blurry, you notice dark spots in the middle of your field of vision, you're seeing flashes or new floaters, if you have difficulty seeing distances, if there's a sharp pain in one eye, along with vision changes, or if you have trouble driving because of glare, these are all good reasons to make your appointment with the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 and youridoc.com. And if your eyes are itchy and scratchy, that might be more than allergies. The doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranj Malhotra, Andrew Royer, and Robert Brusati are also leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. I've been a patient of theirs for about 25 years. In Sullivan, St. Peter's, and their main headquarters, 270 in Manchester, 314-966-5000 and youridoc.com.
Happy New Year from our friends at Zero Res 2023. Time to get your home Zero Resified with all the services at 23% off. You must book and clean in January. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com for 23% off all of our services.
What really matters to you? At Archwell Health, that's what matters to us. When Linda told her doctor about the trip her family planned for her 70th birthday, our team worked together to improve her mobility. Then there's Shirley, who wanted to lose a little weight. She and her doctor chose an Archwell Health exercise class, and her dietitian also had a few ideas. We're here to help you live your life to the fullest, because you are more than a patient. Join today at archwellhealth.com/livewell.
At 10:30, we have sunny skies and 53 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. The bill to ban the sale, purchase, and delivery of assault-style weapons and high-capacity magazines passing the Illinois House and is now in effect. You can use the Odyssey app to rewind to our conversation with Illinois State Senator Darren Bailey, who is opposed to the measure. The FAA has lifted the ground stop order made necessary by the failure of a computer system that gives pilots the information needed for safe flight. CBS News transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve at Reagan International expects cancellations to increase as the day goes on.
I think you'll see airlines make the sacrifices today as far as delays and cancellations so that they're ready tomorrow for a normal day. All of that, of course, is assuming this NOTAM system, Notice to Air Missions system, continues to work.
Police in Washington, D.C. defending their decision not to identify the man who fatally shot a 13-year-old teenager accused of breaking into a car over the weekend. CBS News correspondent Allison Keyes.
The man who fatally shot 13-year-old Karan Blake over the weekend has been neither identified nor charged, but some community members have made racial allegations about the person who shot the black teen. D.C. Police Chief Robert Conti says,
"There's been too much misinformation swirling around this incident."
Police say a black neighborhood resident shot Blake with a legally registered firearm, but Blake's grandfather has said if the victim were white, the shooter would have been arrested by now. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
The Cardinals' annual winter warm-up starts Saturday morning. Executive Director of Cardinals Care Michael Hall on Total Information AM.
It's going to be at Ballpark Village and here in the ballpark as well in Busch Stadium. So we're going to use both venues and really use what we've learned over the past few years at the Hyatt to try to spread the fans out and give them a better experience.
More information can be found at cardinals.com/WWU. Taking a look at the commute. There's a stalled vehicle, 170 southbound to Ladue Road. Be prepared to stop there. And another stall, 70 eastbound past 170. It is on the left shoulder. The KMOX forecast for this afternoon, partly sunny, another mild afternoon, one more, the high 62, rain and thunder arriving late tonight. Temperatures fall to the low to mid 40s by daybreak, and then rain may mix with or end as some snow tomorrow as temperatures fall through the 30s. It's partly sunny and 53 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
Are boomers more cringy than millennials? Is Gen Z more woke than Gen X? Is there any hope of bridging our generational divides? Odyssey's new podcast, It's Generational, brings together actual people from these 4 generations for real conversations about today's issues. I'm Lauren Barry, and I'm inviting you to join our mission to dump stereotypes in the trash and really understand each other.
I think these conversations just foretell such a better, richer emotional vocabulary for talking about these things.
Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, it's Kent Newbold for Newbold Toyota. Your car is worth more than ever before, so why trust the damages for your servicing? Come see the factory-trained experts at Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Tom Ackerman sees clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Snagging a Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza for your football party is big play worthy, but winning a year's worth of free Brewpub pizza, that's a game-winning touchdown. This is Kevin Wheeler, and the best frozen pizza is the Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza. It's loaded with award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese, quality meat and veggie toppings, a flavorful sauce, a thin crust. They're my favorite, and they're easy to find. So look for the Brewpub pizzas at your local grocer, and make sure you register to win a year's worth of Brewpub pizza, along with a bar-top pizza oven at KMOX.com/contests. Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizzas.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get
the power of doing it right.
Detailed project proposals, excellent customer service, and trusted professionals who get the job done on time and on budget.
The power of experience.
We're kings of the scaffolding and pros with the stucco. We've been there, done that. Get your project started at CertaPro.com. And get
the power of pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice. KMOX.
Close to tragedy, I've been close to folks who have. Have you ever felt the pain so powerful, so heavy you collapse? No.
It's the show on KMOX. That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. We thank you for listening in on the Odyssey app. If you haven't downloaded it, well, you need to, because you can get the podcast. You can hit the rewind button. If you missed an interview from a few minutes ago, go back and listen to it. You can do that. Like this one, we are going to the guest line now. In regard to President Biden's visit to the southern border, it is his first official visit to the border since becoming president. Javier Palomares is the CEO of the U.S. Hispanic Business Council, and Javier joins us on the show on KMOX this morning. Good morning, Javier. Thank you for being with us.
Morning, Amy and Chris. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we are glad to have you with us. And your first thought that it did take this long for the president to make his way to the border to pay a visit. People have been clamoring for him to do it and asking him and begging him, and he finally did. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, you're absolutely right. I've been critical of the administration's handling of this crisis. But, you know, I'll give credit where credit is due. After months of a variety of people, including myself, that have been asking him to get down to the southern border and visit with the Americans that are being impacted by this crisis, he finally went. So, you know, credit where credit is due. But, you know, I'm in constant contact with all of the Hispanic leaders in this country. And I literally just spoke to my friend Domingo Garcia, who leads up an organization called LULAC. And LULAC is the oldest and largest Hispanic serving organization in the country. And we all agree that Biden's visit, it's a start, but by no means is it a solution. There's much more work to be done. And, you know, bottom line of it is a 3-hour, you know, scripted, sanitized visit. That's not a solution. That's a photo op.
When you see the historic numbers of migrants crossing the border illegally into the United States, and it's such a devastating humanitarian crisis, families, children trying to make a better lives for themselves, and a border patrol that's completely overwhelmed. And I guess what I would say is not so much a good or bad immigration policy as just a complete lack of an immigration policy. That's my view from a distance. It's heartbreaking. What are you seeing, and what are your thoughts when you see the crisis that we have at our border, a humanitarian crisis and a policy crisis?
Well, you're absolutely right. It is a humanitarian crisis, and you know we're America. We're a country that historically has been a haven, and I understand that, and we're doing the best we can as a nation. And President Biden just announced, you know, his new set of policies and a bit of a shift where he's going to be sending 30,000 migrants back to Mexico if they come from specific countries. And again, a step in the right direction. It's heartbreaking. It's difficult. But our focus as a business association also looks at the economic and commercial interests of our nation. You know, there are some 4.7 million Hispanic-owned firms in this country that collectively and legally through the system contribute over $800 billion to the American economy every year. And there is nothing that we are prouder of than being Hispanic. And in fact, the only thing we're prouder of than being Hispanic is being Americans. And we want to help. But the reality of it is this has become a crisis, and it is now impacting the Americans that live down on the southern border. And to the president's policy of sending back 30,000 migrants as they show up, you know, that's a start, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to the 1.5 million that are already here. In addition to that, there's another 600,000 that are seeking asylum. Those people are already in our borders, are already in our country. And this asylum process, according to Mayorkas himself, it used to take 4 months to process someone through the asylum system and process, if you will. They're estimating now it could take 4 to 6 years to clean this up. In the meantime, all of these people, and more of them arriving every single day, are going to be here on, you know, our dime. Now, it would be different if they could be put to work. But according to our own system, our own rules, our own regulation and laws, they cannot work. Meanwhile, our farmers are suffering. Over 10 million tons of crops went unharvested and were lost last year, largely due to labor shortages. These individuals want to work. They could be put to work, but it's our own failed policy that creates a system and the mess that we're in. And look, I get it. And I understand President Biden. I completely get it. This is not his fault, but it is his responsibility. You know, we got to remember Joe Biden, you know, he's got the toughest job in the world. I understand that, but he wanted this job. He asked for this job and we gave him the job, and now it's time for him to do the job. That's all we're asking for. And by the way, we're offering ourselves up to help in any way we can, because we see that it's an all hands on deck kind of thing that's necessary. This is no longer a political issue. It's no longer a Republican issue or a Democratic. It's an American crisis, and we all have to pitch in and work together to get it fixed. But it's going to take a lot more than a sanitized 3-hour visit, to get us where we need to go as a nation.
Javier, as you've mentioned, immigrants are absolutely vital to our economy, helping provide billions of dollars per year in the work they do, whether it's owning a business or, as you mentioned, working on farms, whatever it is. They're essential. We have to have immigrants. We want it to be done legally as well. We've been talking as a country about immigration reform for as long as I can remember, and I'm 45. I don't remember a time we weren't talking about it. It could have either been on the back burner or it was the most important issue of the day. We've always talked about it. What does that mean then? And what are both sides of the aisle doing to help, other than just to build a wall? I mean, there's got to be something better than build a wall and expel people who are trying to get in. What is the solution?
Well, for starters, let's begin by touching on the point you made, and very accurately so. Historically, immigrants have been critically important to the success of our economy and therefore our nation. Companies like, and by the way, the greatest companies in the world, companies like AT&T, Bank of America, eBay, Google, Kohl's, Nordstrom's, Verizon, and Tesla, that they were all started in America, and they were all started by an immigrant. So there is no real argument, as far as I'm concerned, as to whether we need immigrants in this nation. Fast forward to where we are right now. There's 11.5 million unfilled jobs in this country, but there's only 5 million people who are legally able and willing and looking for work right now. So if all 5 million of those Americans who are looking for work got a job tomorrow, we'd still have 6 million jobs that would go unfilled. And those are the jobs that these immigrants could do: harvesting that crop, packaging that fruit, cleaning that hotel room, roofing that house, etc. So for starters, I completely agree with you. We need immigrants in order for our economy to continue to flourish. The reality of it is, though, that I don't believe that either of the parties, whether Republican or Democrat, really has a vested interest in fixing this, because this is something they feed on every election year. This is either used to create a wedge or to create some kind of false, commonality. And both of the parties have taken advantage of immigration and the concept of immigration reform, but nobody's ever had the political courage to step up and do the right thing. The American people clearly want it. The last time I looked, 86% of Americans that were polled wanted comprehensive immigration reform. The reality of it is the nation needs it, and it's now time for Americans to stand up and tell their elected officials, whether Republican or Democrat, this is enough. We've got to fix this.
And I did have a question about a specific proposal in Joe Biden's new plan. And tell me if I'm understanding this correctly, because you did mention the 30,000 migrants from 4 countries. And this is what I understood it was, that 30,000 asylum seekers a month from Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Haiti could be granted parole to live and work in the U.S. for 2 years, provided they apply for asylum from their home countries and don't first cross the Mexican border.
Right.
And I've seen pushback on this from both sides, partly because to apply for asylum, you would need a smartphone app, a background check, and a sponsor in the U.S.
Correct.
Am I understanding that correctly? And what are your thoughts on that part of Joe Biden's plan?
It's ludicrous, and you got it right, Amy. So you're a mother of four. You're in the jungles of Nicaragua, and you're dying to come to America. So what? You're going to open your MacBook Air and log on and find a sponsor? And I mean, give me a break. But this again is a vivid illustration of the policies that are coming out of Washington, and particularly the Biden administration, that are created by this group of insulated, Ivy League educated, political insiders that are advising him, people who have absolutely no idea of what's going on in the southern border and have no idea of why and how it is that people get to this country in the first place. I mean, it sounds great on paper, but when you break it down, as you just did, and start to look at it and say, hold it. So how is someone in the wilds of Haiti going to figure out and use his or her smartphone to find a sponsor and legally apply online to get here? That simply is not going to happen. And here again is an example of, you're throwing a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. We need better, more well thought out ideas and solutions than this.
Yeah, I'll just follow up the detail I thought of with that app and how someone in that position would be able to apply. I traveled to Canada, and downloading the ArriveCan app plus all of my vaccination papers, it took me like 8 hours.
Right.
It was
Exactly right.
me just to go on a trip.
That's exactly right. I rest my case, Your Honor. That is exactly right.
Javier Palomarez, we appreciate your time today. Thank you for the conversation.
God bless you guys. Appreciate you giving small business a voice. Take care.
That is Javier Palomarez, CEO of the U.S. Hispanic Business Council. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. Hey, did you see this?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next on the show.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-5555. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, behind on taxes houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-5555. That's 314-782-5555.
The federal government is hiring 87,000 new IRS employees and enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
What if everything you got came with a little bit of money? Spicy chicken ramen with a side of quarters, a full tank of gas, and a $5 bill, an entire pantry's worth of groceries, and a pocket full of cash. Well, then you'd be living life on the upside. The first platform that gives you real cash back in real life wherever you roll. Restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations, all cashback opportunities. So order the expensive appetizer, buy a little extra at the store, fill your gas tank till the pump stops. Because with Upside, you can. Start earning cash back just for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code SPICY for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code SPICY. Promo code SPICY. SPICY for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Start living life on the upside with the free Upside app.
Rachel and Dave here for Smart Mouth. Smart Mouth is simply the only mouth rinse you ever need to think about again. Unlike Scope, unlike Listerine, it actually has a chemical reaction that kills bad breath for 12 hours. Use it twice a day and you are covered.
There's so many Smart Mouth products to choose from. They have their dry mouth rinse, their clinical DDS, their original formula, plus whitening toothpaste, and their delicious mints. To learn more, go to smartmouth.com/Glover for a $2.50 off coupon.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
For all your communication needs, check out the Center for Hearing and Speech. Call today, 314-968-4710 or chsstl.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than four? 314-441-4444.
You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
The show on KMOX.
It's the show, KMOX. Amy Marks, Chorus, Chris Ranji. There's Amy.
Hey.
Hey. Go on.
I thought you were going to say something
No,
else.
I was waiting on you.
You always have a lot to say, Ranj. And
No,
so usually
I'm out.
we get the music and then I go think about something else.
I'm fresh out.
For 7 minutes.
Fresh out. Go ahead.
All right. Did you see this?
What?
No, it's what we all suspected. But a report from ESPN confirms that it was the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills who wanted to cancel the Monday Night Football game in which DeMar Hamlin got injured. So the NFL did indeed plan on continuing that game. Now, if you remember, it was, Troy Vincent, who had said of the NFL, who said, no, we never had any intention
to restart
to
the game.
resume the game. But Joe Buck on the broadcast had said the players are going to warm up for 5 minutes and then resume the game. And Joe Buck's defense was, listen, I said this on a nationally televised broadcast, the Monday Night Football broadcast. If I said something that was contrary to the NFL's intent, somebody would have said something.
Yep.
I would have known
They
and
would have let
been
him know.
corrected immediately. And he was not.
Right.
So it has since come out that, yes, the NFL wanted to continue the game. And it was because the Bills and the Bengals said, absolutely not. We cannot continue this
They
game.
just wanted to play over his body.
Yeah.
Like, drag him off the field and let's get back going.
It's
I gotta
not
tell you,
surprising, but how gross is the NFL?
man, I love the game.
Yeah.
I love the players. I love some of the teams. The NFL as a league and the group of owners, just absolutely ghoulish.
Yeah.
Just ghoulish. They bother me so much. I've said this for a long time. I wish somehow the league itself could die and we could restart it with all the same teams with different owners, different management, and go from there.
There was a team official who said, quote, the league screwed this blank up because Troy Vincent screws this stuff up.
Yeah.
That's the wrong person in the wrong position at the absolute wrong time. He wants to be the hero, but he will never take accountability. That's him to a T. So pretty strong words.
Amy, did you see this? It actually was it was something written over a year ago. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it was getting shared today. And I saw it today, and it was one of those columns, like a Dear Abby kind of thing where people write in with their questions, the relationship stuff, whatever, and then a therapist answers those things. And the question was about a woman who had written in, who had gotten married in December, and she said, I want a divorce by the end of January.
Okay.
So this had happened about a year ago. And what occurred was at the wedding and leading up to it, the one thing she told her husband, according to her or her fiance, was at the ceremony, do not smash cake in my face. You know how sometimes they're doing the cake thing?
Yeah.
And it's so dumb.
It's
I hate
dumb.
it. It's not cute. Maybe one time it was when it was never done
novelty?
before.
Yeah.
It's not a novelty anymore.
No.
She said, don't do it. I have extreme claustrophobia from a car wreck I was in. They get to the ceremony. Not only does he doesn't do it. He doesn't smash cake in her face. Instead, he takes her head and throws it into the cake.
Okay.
Destroys the cake.
That's not only
Which
is
is
that
worse.
stupid and disrespectful, it's also kind of a weird, violent
Yes.
image.
So he does this to her, and he planned it out because he had a bunch of cupcakes that he was going to give to people as hey, I destroyed the cake. Here's cupcakes. She wants a divorce. Everybody's telling her she's overreacting.
Get a divorce.
Is that an overreaction?
No. That's a red flag. Don't procreate with that guy.
I gotta
Get
tell you,
out.
I agree with you. We're going to talk to Les Sturman about downtown and the missing car. You're listening to the show on KMOX.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. My second business was open 6 days a week, and I worked from home the seventh day. I maintained that ridiculous schedule for 8 years. One Saturday morning in 1999, I woke up late for work and was greeted by my 6-year-old.
Oh, hi, Dad. Why aren't you at work?
I answered, because it's Saturday. He said,
Oh, thanks for visiting, Dad.
his words pierced my heart. I had become a workaholic. It was decision time. What's more important, family or work? I chose family, and I stopped working 7 days a week. That's why I created Patriot Software, so entrepreneurs can run their payroll in minutes, which gives more time for their families. Go to PatriotSoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll processing free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
You know when you start up a motorcycle and you hear it go vroom, vroom, vroom when it takes off? I was losing that. I was losing my energy like everybody does as they grow older. And I don't want to be tired. I don't want to look tired, and I don't want to be tired. I started using Balance of Nature about 1.5 years ago. Noticed the results immediately. And I went, oh my gosh, this works. This is what I've been missing all my life. I am loving life actually more than I ever have. I missed my va-va voom. I got it back.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. See why Kathy Lee Gifford and thousands of others have had life-changing success with Balance of Nature. Take advantage of our New Year's offer while you still can. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. That's 1-800-246-8751 and get $25 off plus a free fiber and spice when you use discount code KLG.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's best flooring store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com. Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now, 314-720-8081.
Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's partly cloudy and 58 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. Thousands of flight delays and cancellations rippled across the U.S. this morning after a computer outage led to a grounding order for all departing aircraft by the FAA.
The FAA says the notices to air missions went down and had to be restored. The White House initially said there was no evidence of a cyber attack, but President Biden, before taking off, said,
"We don't know. Okay, we'll find out."
And directed an investigation. By late morning, there were more than 6,000 delays and 1,000 cancellations. At Newark Airport, Gary and Sharon Swanson wondered if their flight would take off.
We're going on a cruise today, so we hope we're not delayed too long.
Right now, we're delayed for an hour. At Reagan Airport in D.C., Ryan Osaki was trying to figure out how to get to a work conference.
My flight was at 10. They grounded everything until 9. Then they delayed the original 10 o'clock. And now my connecting flight is still on time since it was after 12.
I'm Julie Walker.
One Illinois lawmaker's take of a newly passed law.
I have absolutely no intention of complying with this.
Debbie Monterey has more.
This would be the Illinois law banning the sale of assault-style weapons and high-capacity magazines. State Senator Darren Bailey doesn't agree it would stop mass shootings.
Let me think. In the country, in 2019, there were 760. I'm sorry, this is in Illinois. 760 some shootings in 2019. Seven of them were carried out with a long rifle.
Bailey believes the end game is to take everyone's guns away. The law that passed allows current owners of those weapons to keep them but register them with state police.
Missouri's Governor Mike Parson gives his State of the State address a week from today. He gave a sneak peek to 97.1.
You're going to see us address daycare in the state of Missouri. That's a huge issue for parents. It's a huge issue for businesses trying to get people back in the workforce. So we got to look and see how we can do to help with that situation.
Parson went on to say he will be discussing Interstate 70, but wouldn't elaborate. There's new hope for the parents of kids with peanut allergies.
Two things first about this study. First, it did not involve kids with a life-threatening allergy to peanuts. And second, the researchers are urging parents not to try this themselves. But Australian researchers were able to stop allergic reactions in 80% of the children they fed, gradually increasing portions of boiled peanuts over the course of a year. They emphasized this wasn't a cure, but it did protect those children against accidental exposure to peanuts during the trial itself. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
The KMOX Business Desk. The nation's public schools are facing a new financial crisis. Here's CBS's Jim Krasula.
School districts are being swamped by unpaid student lunch debt, according to a new survey from the School Nutrition Association, a school food trade group. The federal government stopped providing free meals to all public school students 3 months ago. That was a pandemic financial relief program.
The unpaid balance for school meals in one district totaled nearly $2 million. The Dow from Stifel up 97 points to 33,801. And some debris on 270 south at 70. Watch out there. We've got a stall 70 east at I-170 on the left shoulder. Stall I-170 south at Ladue. And a stall 70 west before Lucas and Hunt. The right lane is closed.
KMOX AccuWeather. Get out and enjoy this very mild afternoon as we get up to 60 to 65. Some rain and thunder later tonight. Tomorrow, looks like it ends mostly before it switches over to snow showers through most of Metro Detroit. Will fall into the upper 30s, low 40s, and hold there tomorrow, and then fall in the 20s with icy spots tomorrow night. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning in St. Louis. It's partly cloudy and 58 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Equip your home with a furnace AC combo from Jerry Kelly for just $187 a month with approved credit, minus what you'll save on your energy bill, of course. A whole system, just $187 a month for a limited time at
JerryKelly.com.
It's KMOX. It's the show. It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji with you until 1 o'clock. Dave Glover comes in then. We stick around with him for that 1 to 2 hour. We hope you do the same as you listen in on the Odyssey app. And go back and get the podcast of anything you missed. It's all there on the podcast tab. Lots of good stuff, always.
Great
Go
stuff.
back and get it.
Yeah.
We are joined in studio right now, Amy, by Les Sturman, the chairman, Citizens for a Greater Downtown St. Louis. And he joins us now on a day in which we had a monumental event
Oh,
happen.
my gosh.
I don't know if you've heard about our
Our
was
cause.
it a journey? We had a cause.
It was our cause.
There was this abandoned car
Yeah.
right outside the building, right in front of a place of business here. And it's been there for like 3-4 months. And we started to decorate it, and we were going to decorate it. And finally, the city towed it.
We're sad. We're a little sad.
We're kind
at
of
this
sad
point.
they towed it.
Yeah.
Would you estimate, how many would you estimate are in the downtown area? Just
Abandoned
crashed,
cars.
Abandoned cars that are not being taken care of.
It's hard to say, but, we've had this issue so many times before, and including cars that were full of bullet holes that were sitting there for months. We've had abandoned trucks, abandoned vans. As part of the reason our group formed was to be kind of a squeaky wheel that, reminds the city of these things, because there really isn't anybody else doing it.
So, what is it? Why do these things get left behind? Why don't they get taken care of? Is it a staffing issue? Is it an incompetence issue? Is it a we don't care issue? What is it?
I think to a large degree it's a staffing issue, but it's also an organizational issue. There are people you can talk to in the city to register your complaint, but it's not clear where that complaint goes. And I think there's a lot of passing of the buck. There's also some policy issues, like the police department, when they arrest somebody that's in a car, that car stays there. Their policy is not to tow that car. So that person could be incarcerated for months, and that car just sits there.
Wait, what? So how does that work? I'm a little bit confused, because I've lived on streets where if your car was even like breathing on the wrong side of the street during street cleaning day, they would tow the car. So if someone's arrested, you have to leave the car where it is?
I think that is the policy of the police department, unless it's changed in the last couple of months. But that's what we've been told.
Oh, that's interesting.
But how does the police department make that decision and not the city if it's a streets vehicle issue?
Well, it's a policy of the police department. I don't think it's an ordinance or a law.
Gotcha.
And again, I don't know what the ordinances are regarding abandoned vehicles, but clearly there are so many, as you've observed, sitting out on the street for months.
When we talk about it, and we've made fun of that stupid car, which we love now, but we've made fun of it for months, and we've talked about it, and it sounds like a really stupid thing to talk about, and it sounds like a silly thing to make a big deal about, but I don't think it is. Like, I don't think it's dumb to focus on little things like that, because little things like that are what people see. Like, if you come downtown, that's what you see. Like, if you see abandoned cars on the street that have clearly been in accidents or have bullet holes in them, you ever going to want to come back here?
Yeah, Chris, I think you're right. I think that's symbolic of a certain dysfunction that we have in the city. I just tweeted this morning. I look out my window. There's an abandoned construction dumpster. It's been there for a couple of months. Full of trash. Everyone's throwing everything in it now, old furniture, wheelchairs, and now it's just spreading out all over the street. Right next to it, there are 2 grease containers from long ago shuttered restaurants that have been sitting there literally for years, and nobody seems to have any responsibility for doing anything about it.
So then, what's the recourse? What do we do? Because the next step is, how do we fix that?
Well, I think a lot of it depends on us as citizens to keep reminding our city government, our elected officials, that these problems exist, and to hold them accountable ultimately at the ballot box, if nothing else. But clearly there's a certain level of dysfunction in city government right now that, I think that we have to address.
And it's got to be dysfunction and also lack of priority or focus, because we look at the issues facing our city and we go to poverty, we go to violent crime, homicides, equity, all of these things that we're used to talking about that are pretty complicated issues, but filling potholes, removing dumpsters, towing cars that are wrecked and have been in, quote, prime parking spots for months at a time, that needs to be taken care of. And I'm looking at the dumpster that you posted on Twitter at L. Sturman. So the end of the dumpster is opened up. So all of the contents are spilling out. And you're right. It's wheelchairs and furnitures and giant boxes and decorations. It's in front of the old Bobby's Place on Washington that has since, been shuttered and also is abandoned and in disrepair. It's a really bad look.
Yeah, and that's what I see when I look out my window every day. And in fact, that was a construction project that was proceeding illegally. And I did contact the building commissioner's office, and they shut them down, which they should have done. But the dumpster remains, and people have taken the opportunity to just throw everything in it.
What was the illegal construction they were doing?
It was on the old Bobby's Place building. In fact, twice somebody has started construction on it without a building permit, and it was shut down by the city.
Interesting.
Like a business? Like, do they think they're going to get away with it, that no one's going to notice?
Had I not called, they probably would have gotten away with it.
Interesting.
Oh.
Interesting.
The original reason we wanted to have you in was to talk about the scooters, which have made a comeback. It feels like every time I bring something up, I'm like, we're talking about this dented car, and now we're talking about scooters. It seems like all of these are really stupid.
Yeah.
Like all of these topics are really stupid, but they're kind of not. The scooter thing, they are coming back. They were taken away from a certain part of downtown. There were restrictions on them, and now they're coming back with more restrictions. What do you think about the scooters, and have had the absence of them solved or helped any of the crime issues or the unruliness issues downtown?
Well, certainly the absence of them made an immediate difference in quality of life downtown for a whole host of reasons. The reason they were initially banned from downtown is because large groups of juveniles were coming downtown late at night, particularly on weekends, but at other times during the warm weather, and kind of taken over Keener Plaza and some city streets. But the problems actually go deeper than that. But when they were banned, that activity stopped overnight, and things were immediately better. It reduced the gunfire and other kind of unruly activity. But at the same time, the scooters cause a whole variety of problems. In theory, the theory advanced by the scooter companies that this is a good thing for cities because it takes automobile traffic off of the streets, and it's fun. It's great for people who don't have another mode of transportation to get to work. But the fact is that 95%, if you spend any time downtown, 95% of people riding the scooters is purely recreational.
Mm-hmm.
And there are all these rules in place, and they've been in place since the very beginning. Nobody under 18 is supposed to ride a scooter. You can't ride a scooter on the sidewalk. You have to park them appropriately. None of those rules get followed, and much the same as we were talking before about enforcement of laws that are on the books. If you don't enforce it, the rule doesn't mean anything.
And I agree with them on the idea that scooters are good for cities, but there's a caveat. They're good for cities with people. With traffic. We don't have traffic. We don't have people walking around. There's no need for them. Like it does alleviate traffic if you're in New York or if you're in Chicago, but we're not in those areas. And I think if this were a populated area with a lot of people living in it, then maybe they would be more necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact is that rather than displace auto travel downtown, it's more likely displacing pedestrian travel, which is not a good thing.
Les Sturman, we appreciate your time. Thank you for coming in and joining us. We have to talk about airport issues because we had another one this week.
Yeah, I heard.
It's madness.
Maybe we can take the scooters and the people who had to cancel their flights.
They can get to wherever they're going on a scooter.
Yeah.
Wonderful. But we want to have you back in. We'll talk about other downtown issues because we care about it. We care about the city. We want it to improve. We want things to get better here. I live in the city. So Amy lives, you live? No, you're close enough. I live in the city. I care about
I'm on
it.
the edge.
So we'll have you back in soon.
Well, certainly appreciate your concern for the city and anything we can do to help.
Les Sturman with Citizens for a Greater Downtown St. Louis, chairman of that organization. With us in studio, Rhonda Hamnabrugge with the Lambert International Airport will give us an update, what she knows about what happened this morning with airlines across the country on KMOX.
Well, when it comes to helping out your neighbor, helping out those in need, who can get things done, that's the Salvation Army. And their Tree of Lights campaign continues beyond Christmas. We can love our neighbors beyond Christmas. I've still got my virtual red kettle up at salarmy.us/AmyMarkScores. salarmy.us/AmyMarkScores. We're so close to that $10,000 mark. We're trying to reach that because all of the money that's raised during the Salvation Army Tree of Lights campaign that stays right here in St. Louis. So you truly are helping your neighbor in need. You're helping your neighbor down the street who is struggling to put food on the table for their children, or the veteran who is dealing with addiction or homelessness. You can help someone who is struggling to pay their mortgage for the first time, pay their rent for the first time, maybe in their lives they've ever needed extra help. The Salvation Army stands in the gap for our communities and our neighbors. You can donate to my virtual red kettle right now on your phone, on your laptop. It's very easy. salarmy.us/AmyMarkScores.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 1120 AM further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Birdie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. How many blocks can you walk before you want to sit down because of foot, ankle, knee, or low back pain?
I really just wanted to avoid staying on my feet for very long at all.
Do you hate going to work in the morning because you already know that you're going to hurt?
If you're just in pain, you're hurting, you tend to get a little distracted from what you're working on too.
Come to the Good Feet Store today and try it before you buy it.
I hobbled into the Good Feet Store. It's been one of the best decisions I ever made. It was an investment in life.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations. On Olive, west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Start the new year on a better foot. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet Store.
Hi guys, it's Mark. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction? Did you know that a major medical breakthrough is now available and it isn't a pill? Today, Wednesday, January 11th, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. It's backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge. If you're ready to regain the spark in your bedroom, today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. You'll also get a gift that can produce rapid and powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. And today only, we're offering 6 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is an unprecedented offer worth hundreds of dollars, but call today and qualify totally free. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today, Wednesday, 314-530-7777.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
News, talk, sports. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
More airline issues today in the United States. We had an FAA problem this morning, and there were thousands of flights that were delayed. Several hundred were canceled as well as a result of a system that notifies pilots called a NOTAM system, and it notifies pilots of obstacles, construction, cranes, that sort of thing that they need to be aware of if they are taking off from a particular airport and landing in a different one. They need to know these things that are in the area, so they don't run into them. Amy Marks Korsen.
I feel like if you run into a crane, you're flying pretty low.
Well, what if there's fog and you're landing?
That's true.
You have to come down at some point.
I mean, yeah. I just hope that the crane's, not on the landing strip.
Well, it could be near it. Have you ever been on a flight? You know how you ever heard of a thing called descent?
Yeah.
Not descent like in
like
Congress,
in the Supreme Court?
but descend.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm descending.
Descent. Yeah.
Well, it's called descent.
You know what? Rhonda Hamnabergy is
She's
probably
with us now.
regretting her decision to
She
join
is the
us.
executive director at St. Louis Lambert International Airport with us again. I feel like we like talking to you, Rhonda.
Yeah.
We don't like having to talk to you like every week when something goes wrong.
Well, good morning. Nice to talk to you as well.
Okay, I guess the first question is, you don't have to pretend to like us. It's okay.
What are these idiots doing? She's
I
thinking.
know. She's got stuff to do, and she's wasting her time
Rhonda,
talking to us.
First things first. Are we idiots?
No. No.
Did you hear the hesitation?
Yeah, she said no. She did say
She
no.
did say
She's
no.
an executive director, so we have an endorsement.
All right, Rhonda, before we waste all of your time, I know the first question is, are flights operating back on time and as usual at Lambert right now?
They are. I mean, there are still delays because there was a backlog of activity, obviously, from this morning. So the restriction from the FAA was lifted at 8 o'clock and planes immediately started arriving and departing. But as you can imagine, there was a fairly big backlog. So everything is taking off. We're still seeing 10, 20, in some cases, maybe 30-minute delays from the original departure. But the good news is, I mean, for the day, we've only seen 8 cancellations out of St. Louis, so that's good. And, things seem to be getting back to normal here.
Okay, and then how are the security lines looking maybe for people who are headed to Lambert now?
They're good. Most of the people came as normal, went through the security lines. You remember, as we get past Christmas and the New Year's holiday, traffic really drops off in January. That's not anything new for this year. So this is a lighter travel week, especially from tourists and vacation. So most of the people traveling are going out on business, and they're your experienced customer getting to the airport and getting through lines. So the lines are fine. There's no backlogs at the security checkpoints.
Did this disproportionately? We had a texter earlier who thought because of some of the issues that Southwest Airlines faces, that it might affect them even more so than the rest of the airlines. Did it have a greater effect on any one particular airline?
No, this was a nationwide. All carriers were affected equally, so this was a nationwide issue. So the FAA doesn't pick and choose and say, okay, you're okay, but you're not okay.
Yeah.
So they were all impacted equally.
What do you know about the NOTAM system and exactly how or why it failed?
We don't know why it failed. I do not have inside information as to what happened with the system. We do know that it went down. So the NOTAM system is a critical piece of aviation infrastructure. So every pilot departing their city needs to look at the NOTAMs of the city that they're going to, as well as alternate airports that they're set up for their flight plan. And it tells them any oddities that may be along the way, but also once they arrive at that airport. So as I think your partner mentioned, Amy, maybe there's construction going on and one of the airfields is closed down, or one of the runways is closed down, or maybe you've got some other construction going on that could impact the airfield. So they're required to look at that system, understand both at their arriving airport and then their alternate arriving airports, should there be diversions, what those oddities may be for the day. And unfortunately, none of the pilots could access that system and see what those were. So in an effort to be absolutely safe, because that is our primary function at an airport as well as the FAA, is to ensure the safety of passengers, the FAA opted to just ground stop all airplanes until they knew that the system was back up 100%.
I would imagine for people traveling, if there are any concerns at all, it's okay, that went down today. Are we safe to fly? Because could it go down again? And if it does go down, what happens? There's no reason for people to worry?
No, there's not. I mean, this is one of those things. There were flights in the air, obviously, when the system was down. So you can contact, rather than just look online in the system to see what those odysseys may be by airport, you can actually call that airport and get a verbal confirmation of anything. But obviously that not everyone can do that due to the volume. So for those airplanes that were in the air or that are traveling, there are methods of being able to have a backup system. It's just not something that you can accommodate when everyone's trying to call and get information. So
Rhonda Hamnabergy, thank you so much for joining us. She is the executive director of St. Louis Lambert International Airport, where flights are taking off and landing again. Everything's hunky-dory.
Thank you. Nice talking with both of you.
You too. Well, after everything that's happened with the FAA and Southwest, do you know how that's going to change my habits and decisions when it comes to traveling?
You might just get there earlier.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. I still got to fly.
Yeah.
I'll be flying Southwest this weekend. So ideally, this could be the best time to fly because, they're really looking out for all the system errors.
How devastated would you be if your flight was just totally canceled?
Totally as opposed to halfway canceled?
Not delayed, but totally canceled.
Totally canceled.
Into the next day and then the day after that.
Yeah.
And then you miss the big thing that you're going to go do.
Yeah. It is what it is. It depends on what kind
I don't think that's the reaction you would have.
Only because I have severe anxiety about the thing I'm going to do. Do you know what I mean? So I'm excited about it, but
So it would be a relief?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God I don't have to do it.
Yes. Yeah, it would. Isn't that horrible? But that's how I feel. I'm racing. That's what is happening. So I'm very excited about this race, but there's always that element of anxiety. So yes, I would be disappointed, but there'd be a big part of me that's like,
so you wouldn't be the family from Florida that took the road trip and they spent $4,000 because they couldn't get home on their flight? You wouldn't spend $4,000 to take a road trip?
No.
That's no dedication. That's what that is. Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
When winter weather hits St. Louis, KMOX is committed to keeping you and your family safe.
Let's begin our coverage with Roger Brand.
The road conditions around the state, they are covered.
With up-to-the-minute forecasts.
Let's take you to the Storm Center and AccuWeather's Dean DeVore.
We're watching another area of snow and ice.
And we talk to those who know the conditions.
Dave Rohn is joining us right now. He is with St. Louis County Highway Department.
Winter weather. We've got it covered. Fast and live. From the dependable voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get
the power of a cut above.
Decades of expertise to transform your home. From so-so to virtuoso.
The power of neighborhood painters.
We live where you live and probably like the same pizza place you do. Put
the power of pro
to work for you today. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. How would you like to put your car payments on ice for the next few months? Then head to St. Charles Nissan. That's right, make no payments until April when you upgrade this month at St. Charles Nissan. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or service, St. Charles Nissan is giving you amazing savings all winter long. Hurry in today and no car payments until April. St. Charles Nissan, conveniently located a quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70 or online at stcharlesnissan.com. Interest, if any, accrues during the deferral period, expires month's end.
Football's biggest game of the year is coming up February 12th. But if you're looking to travel in 2023, the biggest day of the year for you is February 4th because it's AAA Travel Marketplace. It's the super big, can't-miss travel event of the year. AAA Travel Marketplace features tons of cruise and tour partners all under one roof with limited-time special offers for huge savings on your next dream vacation. AAA Travel Marketplace takes place Saturday, February 4th from 9 a.m. till noon at the Holiday Inn at Watson and Lindbergh in Sunset Hills. Save the date and don't miss out.
At 11:30, it's a partly cloudy sky, 60 degrees downtown at the Arch. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin has been released from the Buffalo Hospital more than a week after going into cardiac arrest during a game. A standoff over clean energy is escalating overseas, with police in Germany moving on protesters in a village set to be swallowed up by a coal mine. CBS's Tina Kraus.
Climate activists from across Europe have descended on the town of Lutzerat, barricading themselves in what they call a fight for a clean future.
If this coal is burned, we're actually going to take down our climate goals. Our climate goals cannot be reached.
Many demonstrators are squatting in homes residents have abandoned. A German court has ordered them to leave, and police are starting to make arrests.
A scientist at the Donald Danforth Plant Science Center, whose research spurred the creation of ag tech company Benson Hill, has died. Todd Mockler was 52 years old and died suddenly Friday at his home. He rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange when Benson Hill went public last year. We've got a stalled vehicle 270 north at Manchester. The right lane is closed. Also 70 west before Lucas Hunt. The right lane is closed. And for today, the forecast from Dave Murray, a high of 60 degrees, very mild for January. For tonight, lots of clouds. Rain comes in, low 40. For tomorrow, periods of rain, mostly in the morning with a high of 45, but temperatures drop during the afternoon. Right now, it's partly cloudy and 60 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
This winter, there are COVID-19 booster shots designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. If it's been at least 2 months since your primary series or original booster, schedule your updated COVID-19 booster dose at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
There is a payroll tax refund that's available only for a limited amount of time, but you might be eligible for it if you are a business owner, you have 5 or more employees, and you managed to survive the past couple of years. You could qualify for this payroll tax refund. Here's what you need to do. Go to getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com. You're going to click on the Qualify Me tab and then answer a few questions to see if your business is eligible. And if you're thinking, you know what? That sounds nice, but my company took PPP, or we actually saw an increase in sales in the past couple of years, or your business is a nonprofit, believe it or not, you still might be eligible for this payroll tax refund. The team of tax attorneys that they've put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program, and they've already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. Again, if you have a business with 5 or more employees, you managed to survive the COVID years, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice, KMOX.
I would say at least 4 to 7 times a day, I look at Chris Ranji and say, why are you the way that you are? Because he's kind of a jerk. And what happened
what are
was,
you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about? I'm Amy Mark Scores. That is Chris Ranji. When we were leaving the office yesterday afternoon, long day, hard day at work, you were pretty much a jerk. And I called you out on it. You're always a jerk. And I called you out on it. And Ranji said, it's because of Tim Otto.
I did say that.
And I'm like, okay, wait, what?
All right.
And
that's true.
Folks, you can join in on this conversation. 314-436-7900.
This isn't about me being a jerk. Nobody cares.
It's about what or who made you who you are. It's Tim Otto.
Okay, that's a really good point. Yeah, so you called me the D word, which by the way, you said it. I don't care. I don't care if you're like, oh, people are going to be mad at me. I don't care. You called me that word. And I was like, wow,
HR is listening.
Amy.
But okay, first of all,
we're friends. It's okay.
We're friends. And you say that all the time.
Yeah, I say that word.
And you
all the
say
time.
that
like,
you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not, though. Like,
I was
can
confirming what you said.
So here's what happened. What did I forgot how I said it to you. But something happened in the office on the way out, and Amy and I like to give each other a hard time.
No.
She's a little meaner to me
Oh my God.
than I am to her. And I just said to her, this is so rude. I said, does it bother you? This is how it started.
Yes.
I said, Amy, does it bother you that you were such an idiot?
Yeah.
You know?
Can I just say
And then-
also that when you said
Yeah.
mean, you go, wouldn't it be hilarious if I forgot what it was, if you slipped and hurt yourself
I did not
and
say
couldn't
that.
run the race?
Did I say that?
Yes.
Awesome.
You said that.
That's awesome.
And I think everyone listening would say, that guy's awful. That's a really mean thing to say. And he's like, does it? And he says it out of nowhere. We're just walking, living our lives. Silence for
not
like
do
5,
that.
6, 7 seconds. He goes, Amy, does it bother you that you're such an idiot? And so I confirmed that he
This
is
is-
what all of you are thinking that he is right now.
I imagine this is what it's like to have a sister.
Yeah. Because
how
you're an only child. And so all
I've
of
never had a
this,
sister, so it's got to be you.
yes, all of these things, just this annoying, bothering, pestering that you thrive on all day long.
What about you when you're always bumping into me? Like you're just walking
Well,
up and you
that I
give me a
list.
shoulder.
I think I have vertigo.
Oh,
I list.
Okay.
But
So anyway.
you don't have any siblings, and so all of that comes out on the people that you work with.
Just you. So she said, why are you like this? And I go, you know what? I'll tell you what the problem is. This guy, Tim Otto, when I was in college, I grew up in Granite City, and I think most people in the St. Louis area, not everybody. I'm speaking generally. I think a lot of people here are at least nice to your face. They may not be when you walk away, but there's a politeness, and sometimes it's not a real politeness. Like
Niceties and etiquette. You just kind of like, yeah. It's like the path of least resistance
Right.
socially.
But in the behind your face,
Yeah.
you're like, I hate this person.
Yeah.
Right. And I think people here genuinely do that. I think they're just kind of nice to you.
Mhm.
They put on a front. And it's fine because it avoids conflict. So there is a value in it. But I really appreciate now people who tell you directly what they think of you. And when I went away to college, so, I went to high school in Granite, and then I went to Illinois State, which is halfway up the state, about 2.5 hours away, up north, up 55. And a lot of those people were from the northern part of the
Mhm.
state. So it's people I really had never been exposed to before. And there was this guy on my dorm floor who became a really good friend, and he just would tell people exactly what he thought of them to their face, and a lot of times using profanity, and then the other people just kind of accept it. And I thought, oh wow, there are people like this. I had never seen this before. It's not typical to this area. I'm
Yeah.
not saying there aren't people in our region that aren't like that. I'm just saying that I don't see it, and I had never been exposed to it growing up. It had always been the niceties and all that stuff. But this guy, and I'm like, wow, people can be like this. So I think he rubbed off on me a lot.
Mhm.
And it's because I now appreciate that attitude. I would rather have an interaction with a person where they look me in the eye and they tell me what they don't like,
Yeah.
or they tell me that they are not happy with me, or I just don't like you as a person. I would rather have that than somebody say to me, yeah, you're great. Tell me what I'm telling you what you want to hear, and then you walk away and then they badmouth you. I would rather have somebody be direct with me.
So it's funny that you say this, because this is a conversation among my family all the time, is that I am friends with jerks. That's how we always say, man, your friends they're jerks in a great way, in a really nice way. And what we mean by that is they're direct, and they don't bother with the niceties, because I just want to know where I stand. And and I don't mean that they have to be rude. You're an actual jerk.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are, because you're mean. My friends aren't mean. They're just direct, which some people interpret as mean, but there's a difference. So everybody knows my great friend Noah. Noah is very direct, and that's one reason, one of the many reasons I love hanging out with her. It's why we travel so well, because when we do travel, right? Noah's the one I went to Banff with. Hey, do you want to go here for dinner? No, I don't want to go to that restaurant. Do you want to do this? Yeah, so let's do this. And you know that you're getting an honest answer versus, have someone who puts up with you. Like, well, Amy's kind of, Amy's kind of directing where we're going to go to dinner. And I just kind of had to go where she wanted to go. And I'm like, if you don't tell me that you don't want to go there, I don't know. I'm trying to offer up suggestions. It's not going to hurt my feelings. And that's one reason Noah and I travel so well together. So we can just be honest. We don't want to do something. We do want to do something. Perhaps we want to split up for half a day and go do different things. And there's not this obligation to accommodate the other person to the point of inconvenience. So then when you go home, you complain to your other friends how you had to accommodate the other person the whole time.
I think part of the problem is people are worried about upsetting somebody else. So if I tell you, I don't want to do that thing, maybe I think that you're going to think, oh, my ideas are stupid. And so because my ideas are stupid, I don't feel like offering any other ideas moving forward. And that's it just simply isn't true. It's just, hey, I can tell you that I don't like this.
Yeah.
And it's okay if we can all be honest with each other. That's a healthy relationship that you can have for the rest of your lives, right? You can be honest with one another. And I think that's ultimately more rewarding than wasting your time just trying to be nice so that you don't potentially hurt somebody's feelings.
Yeah. And also, I don't like feeling like I'm a bother, or I don't like it when the person you're with leaves being with you like they're a martyr. Like they may, like that person's a martyr because they had to put up with you. Just tell me if I'm doing something that annoys you, or tell me if you don't want to go to a store or a restaurant or do an activity, because then I can adjust. Oh, okay. What should we do? If you don't know that you're annoying someone, you can't fix it.
Now, I'm very much a proponent of being direct.
Yeah.
Like as often as possible. But you hold back sometimes. Like you don't want to be over the top, like, hey, you just suck and I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say, Ranji.
Yeah, right. Whatever you were about to say.
Look older than you are.
Yeah, well, you say that just to be mean, and that's not
right.
nice.
Yeah, I did say that. I'm sorry.
But there are times where I abandon it because I think deep down in my soul, I'm not really that person necessarily. Let me give you an example. I'm at the store a few days ago, and I'm in line in the one grocery store I go to. I'm not going to name names, but there's one grocery store I go to for the entire time, and I've been going there for like 5-6 years. There are never enough people working the register. Never. There's always massive lines of people trying to check out. And they don't have, well, never mind. If I say that, it'll give it away. So I'm in line, and there's one person in front of me, and this girl walks up, this woman, I guess, and she's very young. She's like in her early 20s, I guess. And she walks up and she stands right in front of me. And she's not with the person who's in front of me. She just got in line. And I didn't say like, hey, the line's back there, which is what I normally would do. I don't know why it is, but I go, I go, were you in line here? And then that's what I said to her. And then
kind of like, oh, this is my bad. You were taking the blame, even though you knew it was her fault.
I had been standing there for a minute. Like, that's a long time. And I said, oh, are you in line here? And then she turned around and looked at me and she said, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot exactly what she said. She was asking if she cut.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah, I must not have given the right response because she just turned right around and stayed there.
Yeah.
And I didn't say, well, no, wait a minute. I'm telling you that you cut in front of me. I didn't tell her that.
I think someone like that knows they're cutting and is hoping they're banking on the niceties. They're banking on this person's not going to actually call me out.
No, I think she misunderstood what I was telling her. I think she misunderstood because I wasn't being direct. All I had to do was say, hey, the line's behind me. I've been standing here.
See, and you're direct with strangers.
And I didn't do it.
I'm not direct with strangers in the sense that it's not worth it to me because I don't know, maybe this person's having a bad day or whatever. I can pretty much just kind of turn, turn the other cheek and be like, okay, this person cut. Like for the most part, I'm not as direct with strangers in that sense. I don't like confrontation. It's mainly when I'm with friends, I'll say, I don't really want to do that like that, because I try to just let them know versus just going along with everything. But I will say I'm bad. With confrontation. I don't like it. So I will try to avoid it to the point where I make apologies when I didn't do anything wrong.
Are you, and I'm asking this question to the listener, are you more prone to just be nice, or would you rather be direct? Or are you direct and you feel like you're going against what I'm saying about people generally in this area? Do you think you're direct? 314-436-7900. And if you're not direct, why aren't you? I'm very curious to know why people don't feel like I'm just going to be upfront and honest with you, because everything is better with honesty.
No, that's true. I fall into the George McFly where he goes, I just don't like confrontation. And he's like rubbing his head. And Biff is like, come on, McFly. He's like, I know. And he's just trying to get out of the situation. I have George McFly syndrome. I will try to get out of the situation. And you're probably wondering, didn't you just say you like when people are direct? I do. I struggle with confrontation. But because I think you can be nice and direct. But again, I'm direct with my friends. I'm less direct with strangers.
Sometimes I welcome the confrontation because I'm just in a mood and I want it to happen.
Well, oh my gosh, you love chaos.
Oh, I do like chaos.
You are, is it Captain or Doctor?
Dr. Chaos? I don't know.
Captain Chaos?
But why didn't I tell that lady to get out of my line? Like, get out of my way.
Because you're nice.
I guess.
Do you think if it were a guy, I mean, I'm not trying to be sexist, but what was it like harder for you to be rude to a lady where like chivalry
because she wasn't being rude. I think she just misunderstood what I was saying because I wasn't direct about it. And so then I had to wait behind her.
I've been really...
And I'm like, how did I just I got faced just now. How did I let that happen?
314-436-7900. Call in or text. And I will say I'm proud of myself because I have made gestures, not like the middle finger, but I've made gestures like where I throw my hands up in the air when I've almost gotten hit by a car.
That doesn't count.
No.
That's very passive aggressive and nothing you're going to do about it. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Sorry.
Go, Amy. Are you all right?
I was so excited. I lost words for a second. The Ophthalmology Associates, Chris.
Oh,
see,
great people.
I know they are great people. And you see, I have been wearing contacts since I was 12 years old. So going to the eye doctor has been a big part of my life and an important part of my life. I've dealt with dry eyes. I've dealt with glasses that are uncomfortable, with contacts that don't fit right. And when you are dealing with your eyes, it really affects the quality of your life and your ability to just go about your day. Honest to goodness, when you have red, scratchy eyes or your contact feels like there's something in it, it messes up your whole day and it's anxiety inducing. So finally, when I got to go to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates, I saw Dr. Greg Birdie and oh my gosh, he was able to get some contacts for me, fit me up with contacts that fit my eyes perfectly. He was able to let me know why my eyes were getting drier than I was used to having dry eyes. And he said, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to take fish oil. You need to make sure you take a break from looking at your screen all the time. Blink your eyes a little bit. I had CVS, which is a dry eye symptom that we get from looking at our screens. And he was able to help me out and make sure that I can live my life and see clearly, which is very important, whether I am at work or when I was working with the Blues, being able to make sure I could see the numbers down on the ice. All of those things matter. Dr. Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer at the Ophthalmology Associates can help you out. Call them today at 314-966-5000, 314-966-5000, or youridoc.com.
Everybody knows, you've got to get it at Clement. Shop new and used, get pre-approved. Find the car you're looking for when you log on. ClementAutoGroup.com.
What if everything you got came with a little bit of money? Spicy chicken ramen with a side of quarters, a full tank of gas, and a $5 bill, an entire pantry's worth of groceries, and a pocket full of cash. Well, then you'd be living life on the upside. The first platform that gives you real cash back in real life wherever you roll. Restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations, all cashback opportunities. So order the expensive appetizer, buy a little extra at the store, fill your gas tank till the pump stops. Because with Upside, you can. Start earning cash back just for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code SPICY for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code SPICY. Promo code SPICY. SPICY for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Start living life on the upside with the free Upside app.
You know when you start up a motorcycle and you hear it go vroom, vroom, vroom when it takes off? I was losing that. I was losing my energy like everybody does as they grow older. And I don't want to be tired. I don't want to look tired, and I don't want to be tired. I started using Balance of Nature about 1.5 years ago. Noticed the results immediately. And I went, oh my gosh, this works. This is what I've been missing all my life. I'm loving life actually more than I ever have. I missed my va-va voom. I got it back.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. See why Kathy Lee Gifford and thousands of others have had life-changing success with Balance of Nature. Take advantage of our New Year's offer while you still can. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. That's 1-800-246-8751 and get $25 off plus a free fiber and spice when you use discount code KLG.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman, check out the only agents that I trust at thegelmanteam.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans directly, and recycle old clothes by donating them. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Home Sweet Home mission is to give underserved families a sense of pride and to improve the quality of their lives by providing basic household furnishings. To learn more, go to homesweethomestl.org.
Dude, I'm here for the show. What show?
St. Louis, this is your show.
The show.
The show on KMOX.
It's the show on KMOX. It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. Your text message is 314-436-7900. This text message says that it's from a 314. I know I'm right, confident enough not to have to prove it. Cut others a break. They may need it. I like that.
You know,
I
it's
like
like
that.
it's arrogant, but kind of couched in grace and humility. I know I'm right. I'm just confident enough I don't need to prove it. Which is fair. I appreciate that text.
You know what that is? It's just I don't care. Like, I'm not going to get involved. Whatever. That's maybe what that is.
Yeah, gotcha.
314, I have a lot of friends in Chicago, totally different than St. Louis. Like Ranji, they have a tough time letting their guard down around new people and are very direct. I don't know. I almost feel like that's the opposite of letting your guard down. Don't you think like being direct is just sort of being upfront right away?
Wait, the opposite of letting your guard down.
Right? Like, I mean, wouldn't, when you put on a front, that's more keeping your guard up than just being direct, don't you think?
Being direct is letting your guard down.
Yeah,
so it's the
that's
opposite.
what I think. Yeah. I will admit that I probably, about really personal things, I probably am a little more guarded than most people. Oh, don't give me that face. Don't do that. Yeah, so about that, but I'm just saying, like, but a typical personal interaction, friendships, that kind of thing, I'm just more direct.
You are 100 times more social than I am. I have been here a few years longer than you have, like at KMOX.
Yeah.
You know 3 times as many people as I know. You know people on the other stations. I can barely name the stations.
You should care more about Odyssey St. Louis.
I do.
And you should download the Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app so that you can listen to KMOX wherever you are at any time of the day. Go back and listen to the podcast, and any of the things that you missed on the show, you can go back and listen to those as well.
I just think it's weird, and maybe people would be surprised, maybe not. But if we walked through this building and there are 6 stations, 6 stations, 5 stations,
Yes.
6 stations,
Yes.
and you asked everyone, who's more social? Who's more, buoyant and outgoing? Amy or Chris?
Yeah.
And they would say Chris.
I'm way more friendly.
Yeah. You
Much
know why?
friendlier than you.
I'm stuck in my thoughts.
That's
My head, I've got 1,000 tabs open. So it's not that I'm not social. It's I'm out there. I'm like in a weird bubble. I'm
and
out
by
there.
the way,
I'm
all
a-
of those tabs, super important.
Yeah.
This text message, life is so short, it's easier to be nice than forward over small things.
That's fair.
I don't know if it is, because of the small things add up. If it's a lot of minor inconveniences over the course of a day, they add up and they make you annoyed.
And I will say this, and we're having this conversation. I don't think we're making the meaningful distinctions that are so critical to serious conversations. And what I mean by being direct does not mean being mean. I have an elderly relative who is deceased who used to say, I'm just direct. I'm just being honest. She was mean.
Yeah, there's a difference between
she was mean.
direct and mean.
Yeah.
Like mean is like you can tell there are people trying to hurt your feelings.
Yes, it was hurtful.
Yeah.
So you can't use the cloak of honesty to be mean. That's a different thing.
Here is a text message that is the most useful of the day. Amy, name calling again. Please stop the name calling bullying.
Wait, who did I call names?
Me. You're bullying me.
Oh, that's right. He is kind of a jerk.
Yeah. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji, hour 3 of the show. That's happening when we come back on KMOX.
Everyone here knows Diamonds Direct is the place to go for the best diamonds at the best prices. But did you know that savvy buyers from all over America, even Los Angeles and New York, now come here to buy their diamonds? These high-end shoppers have discovered that Diamonds Direct has one of America's best selections of large, rare diamonds, from 3 carats to 20 carats, all certified by the GIA, the most reputable and most trusted gem lab in the world. Because of Diamonds Direct's international connections and tremendous buying power, we're one of only a handful of jewelry stores in America that is able to offer a large selection of rare and precious GIA diamonds. In fact, Diamonds Direct's multi-million-dollar selection includes a stunning array of high-end Riviera necklaces, 20-carat tennis bracelets, and an extraordinary collection of rare, precious gemstones, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, and even the really hard-to-find fancy yellow diamonds. Come see why Diamonds Direct right here is the destination for high-end shoppers all over America. Extraordinary selection, quality, and unmatched value. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Quarters, just 25 cents. That's hardly anything, right? But Ken and Lori Heisey and their team at Heisey Advisory Group see quarters a little bit differently. A quarter is a lot when it's a quarter of your retirement savings. Do you want to pay 25% or more in taxes during your retirement? Ken and Lori can create a plan to help address taxes in retirement. And if the only time you think about taxes is when you file them, you do not have a tax strategy. But it's not too late to get one with help from Ken and Lori Heisey. Act now to make sure you're not paying a quarter, a dime, even a penny more than you should. Call Ken and Lori Heisey and the team at Heisey Advisory Group at 314-328-4400 to schedule your personalized strategy session. A quarter saved is a quarter earned. Call 314-328-4400. Call them now. That's 314-328-4400.
Firm cannot give tax advice. Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The voice of the Billikens, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur with words from another happy payroll customer.
My husband and I started a business together, and I had no idea where to start when it came to payroll. And a friend of mine recommended Patriot, and I have not looked back since. It was extremely user-friendly. I was actually able to understand it and run everything extremely well. And anytime I've had a question, they have been so quick to answer and help me. I definitely recommend it to anyone who is looking for a payroll software that is easy to use, user-friendly, and really offers everything that you need when it comes to something that's beneficial for your business.
Visit us at patriotsoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, we've got sun and 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, a ground stop has been lifted after major disruptions this morning at airports across the nation. The FAA says flights are resuming gradually after a glitch with the computer system that provides safety information to flight crews. CBS News correspondent Chris Van Cleve explains where the investigation into the matter stands.
We're hearing from lawmakers, the ranking member and the chair of the Senate Commerce Committee that has oversight of not only the airlines, but DOT and FAA. They're calling for an investigation. They expect to hear from the agency as to what went wrong. The White House has been briefed. Secretary Buttigieg, the transportation secretary, has called for an investigation. The FAA says they're investigating.
St. Louis police are investigating an armed robbery of the City Paws Veterinary Clinic in the 2200 block of Vandeventer. Captain Michael Mueller.
It was reported that 4 to 5 black males wearing all dark clothing entered the business around closing time. They announced the robbery. They then demanded the ketamine and other different controlled substances.
The suspects ordered the victims to the rear of the vet clinic at gunpoint and demanded they open a locker where the narcotics are stored. There were no injuries. The suspects escaped in a maroon-colored SUV. A new gun law in Illinois drawing fire from gun rights advocates.
This is Kevin Killeen at the gun store Piasaw Armory in Alton, where gun owners are upset with the new ban on semi-automatic rifles. They say that they hope for an injunction to stop it and also eventual an overturning of it in the courts. As for the provision that says if you've got these kind of guns, you can keep them, just give us your address, they say that sounds like laying the groundwork for eventual confiscation.
Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy wants to know why former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort was raided over classified documents, but Joe Biden's post-vice presidency office was not. When it was discovered, some classified documents were there.
This is a man that's been in office for more than 40 years. This is a man who prides himself on knowing all of this. Why does he treat people different?
The KMOX Business Desk, Alabama's top prosecutors say women who use pills to induce abortion could face prosecution.
Alabama's near total abortion ban exempts women receiving the procedure from liability. But Attorney General Steve Marshall says women can still face consequences under the state's chemical endangerment of a child law, which was first passed to protect children from meth lab fumes. This after the FDA changed its rules, and now retail pharmacies can dispense abortion pills directly to consumers in states where the procedure is legal. Allison Keys, CBS News.
The Dow from Stifel's up 132 points to 33,836. Now we've got a stalled vehicle 270 east at West Florissant on the right shoulder. Also 6440 west at Spirit of St. Louis Boulevard. The right lane is closed. And stalled 270 north at Manchester Road on the right shoulder.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies and quite mild as we go through our Wednesday afternoon. 60 for the high. Tonight, rain developing after midnight. The evening should be okay. 40 degrees. Thursday, rain. Focus in the morning. Should start to dry out as we reach the early afternoon. 45 for the high, but dropping to 35 by late in the day. Friday, partly sunny and cold. 38 the weekend, looking dry. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor. Go to pennmutual.com/STL. It's partly cloudy and 59 in Florissant, 58 in St. Peters, and 61 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji on the show. Hour 12. Hour 12. It's the 12 o'clock hour. What am I talking backwards? You okay, Amy?
Well, my chair and the arm.
Is it wet?
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's from the anti-static stuff.
Yeah,
So just a little inside baseball here because we have equipment, like electrical equipment, and we have some carpeting. We have to spray down the carpet with anti-static stuff. just so that like we don't rub our shoes and then there's a short in the board and then the station goes out.
Yeah, which happens, but
It does happen.
the
So-
chair, some of the anti-static spray.
It's on your chair.
Yeah, and now it's on my pants and my arm.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
So we did and have been talking about the flights that were delayed. You heard Michael Calhoun of the KMOX newsroom talking about it. And as of right now, flights are getting back in order. There are still delays across the country because of an FAA outage, a computer outage of the NOTAM system, which...
NOTAM or NOTAM?
Well, when we talked to Rhonda at Lambert, she called it NOTAM.
NOTAM sounds better than NOTAM.
NOTAM sounds like a little much, right?
Mhm.
So it's a system that notifies pilots of obstacles, things they need to look out for when they're landing at an airport, for example, like, hey, there's a crane in the sky here, or there's construction at the airport, things they need to be aware of. It's for safety. It went out this morning and flights were grounded across the country. The White House right now, the FAA is investigating, and they still are not exactly sure, according to the White House, what caused the outage. They do not believe at this point that it was a cyber attack of some kind.
Well, the White House statement to reporters was that there was no evidence that it was a cyber attack. President Joe Biden followed up and said, well, we don't know.
Right.
So he's been talking with Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Secretary of Transportation, of what's going on, and they're investigating it. So it's been a rough week for travelers. Well, a rough couple of weeks, I should say, for travelers, although I'm pretty sure Southwest is, thinking, well, it wasn't our fault. And now, as long as you have someone else to blame in a new scandal to take your attention away from, the previous scandal, well, they're sitting pretty because we have short memories.
We sure do. We talked to Javier Palomarez with the U.S. Hispanic Business Council about Biden's visit to the southern border this week, which is the first time he has visited. And the conclusion is, and I don't think anybody's going to disagree with it, there needs to be serious reform on immigration. We may be taking a step forward on that, but it's not enough. And clearly it has to be fixed. And that requires people from both parties wanting to fix it. It's got to go beyond, hey, just build a wall. There needs to be more. We need immigrants. Immigrants are vital to our economy, but we have to speed up the system and make it more efficient.
Right. And then we do have overwhelmed Border Patrol, historically high numbers. I think it's like 1.6 million in 2022. We had over and over again each month, we'd have historically high illegal crossings, and those are just that we know of. It doesn't count getaways. I did bring up the part of the bill that Joe Biden or part of the plan that Joe Biden was proposing that would allow 30,000 asylum seekers from Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Haiti to be granted parole to live and work in the U.S. for 2 years, so long as they didn't first cross the Mexican border. And this was one of his ideas that has really been derided by the left and the right. And I say the left and the right probably for different reasons. But one thing that Javier pointed out is to then apply for asylum from one of those 4 countries. You need a smartphone app. You need to upload a background check and a sponsor from the U.S. So if you are, as he mentioned, a single mom in the jungles of Nicaragua trying to find safety, how in the world are you going to access a smartphone app, Wi-Fi, background check, and a U.S. sponsor? It's effectively impossible for the people seeking asylum in these situations.
So we have to acknowledge we need immigrants. They are vital to our economy, as I mentioned. Billions of dollars because of them. And, they will own their own businesses. They'll work at farms. They'll work at restaurants. They'll do some of the jobs that Americans typically don't want to do. But immigrants will come here and do them because they're looking for a better place.
And right now we have just over 2 open jobs per unemployed person in the United States.
Yeah.
2 open jobs per unemployed person, which means even if we employed all of the 5 million unemployed right now in the United States, we'd still have 6 million job openings.
So we have to recognize that they are necessary. We have to make the process for them getting into the country more streamlined because What do you think is going to happen if you convolute the process for a person who's trying to get out of a horrible situation wherever they are? What do you think they're going to do? You think they're just going to say, I'm going to stay home? No, they're going to find a way to get in illegally, or at least try to, if you make the process too complicated so that they can't go through with it. They're going to find a way in here, and they're going to create a mess.
And also, if you immigrated to the United States, not necessarily through the Mexican border, but friends who my good friend from Peru, he applied to come to the United States, American citizenship, all of that, years ago, and was initially denied because Peru was considered a high-risk country. This is going back 30 years. And so he had to wait several years. And his wife, who's an American, moved to Peru and lived with him there until he could apply again. And so it also adds the complex question about people who came to America legally, who went through a pretty tedious, onerous, expensive process to become American citizens. How does the border crisis affect you? How do you feel about it? Obviously, I have a friend too who also wants to bring her. I can't remember if it was like a close friend, I think, from India, right? A different journey to get to the United States, but it's a hard process. It's a hard process to get the visa, to be able to stay here, all of that. And so she was saying, it's interesting because there's so many different angles to this issue.
So we talked to Javier Palomares about that, which you can all go back and listen to those interviews. You can listen to them on the Odyssey app, download it, and hit the podcast page, and you'll see the show, and you'll go and find those things. The biggest news of the day by a lot. We had the canceled flights. We had the Buffalo Bills thing where we find out that the teams themselves are the ones who said, we are not going to play.
The Bengals and the Bills.
The Bengals and the Bills said we're not playing. Even the NFL tried to get them to play that game after Damar Hamlin had cardiac arrest on the field and almost died. They wanted them to continue the game. We had heard that was true last week. We got confirmation of it this week, or today, actually. But the biggest news of the day by a lot, the car, the abandoned vehicle right outside our building, which had been there for 3 months, maybe 4, who knows?
Yeah.
There's no telling. Got towed today.
It
finally got towed after we started decorating it.
We really made it our own.
We were down there about to put a nice, beautiful star that you had brought.
It was a Christmas tree topper. It was a gold star, and it had twinkle lights.
It did have
Think
twinkle
about
lights.
that, twinkle lights, and how beautiful that would have looked perched atop the abandoned car that we had decorated with gold garland, a Blues rally flag, a Cardinals or a Redbirds cap, Illinois State.
Yeah, Illinois State.
Well, because it was
Go Birds.
Illinois plates, so that makes sense.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
And that car had been there for a very long time.
Yeah, and they towed it.
And that was the issue. And we had made a pretty big stink about it. And I'm sure if you're listening, why are you talking so much about this car? Because it matters.
It was
because
the heart of downtown.
It was a car that was clearly totaled. The side of the car, one side of the car was caved in. It was not drivable.
It was
and it got
broadsided.
parked out front of a business and left there for months, and nobody towed it. Finally, today, it was towed away. And like I said, part of me misses it.
Yeah. And this was Catalyst Coffee Bar. And then Debbie Monterey did point out that there are 3 Starbucks in the downtown area and 2 Park Avenue coffees and 1 tow truck.
What?
What's interesting, though, because it had Illinois plates, it was Cahokia Towing Company. That's what the tow truck said.
Did the tow truck have Illinois plates?
Well, I couldn't
Did
really
it
look
come
in the
over
video.
from across the
Well,
river and get the car
I
to take
think
it back?
Did, because let's see here.
Well, wait a minute, they don't-
I can't see the plates on the truck, but it says
Yeah.
Cahokia Towing. Wouldn't that have to be Illinois?
Wow. Maybe?
So did someone from St. Louis call Illinois and say, "Hey, come get your stuff"?
That's a great question. I don't know. That's not how it is. I thought that if the car was in your city, the city towed it to a city lot.
This is like a breakup, where you break
Who
up.
gets the car?
Well, not who gets the car, but
Who
come get
gets
your
the cat,
stuff.
right.
You know what I mean? We don't have to. I'm not going to return your stuff. You come get your stuff. We'll set it outside the coffee shop. You come get it. Although we did have a great idea.
It
I
was
think-
our idea to get the car out of tow,
Get the car back
get the car back,
and put it in front of Catalyst Coffee.
put it right back. That would be the exact same car. That would be the funniest thing.
I mean, it would
Oh
be
my God,
amazing.
what a great idea.
I know. We'd have to start a GoFundMe. It's expensive.
Can
to get
you
your car
imagine
to the
our
company.
guys down there, Ryan and Todd, who work the place? They show up to open the coffee shop one day and they go, "What the hell? Where did that come from?"
The car's back. It's back, baby. You can't keep us down.
Oh my God, that would be so funny. Oh man. Well, we'll have to dream. So if that's your car, I kind of want you to bring it back.
Yeah. Because here's what we know. City government loves to have fun.
Yeah,
They
love
love pranking
Hey.
people, a rollicking good time.
If there's anything city government likes, it's fun, baby. It's just like us in this room. You and me, we like to have a good time.
Yeah.
We're pals.
Lighthearted, easy going,
So
go with the
great.
flow.
I love it. But it is a symptom of a problem that exists in the city, and it's either incompetence, lack of manpower, or just lack of caring. Whatever it is, you can't have things like that because it does leave an impression.
Mhm.
It leaves an impression on the people who live here. It leaves an impression on the people who visit, who then might say, "I'm never coming back here again." That's exactly the opposite of what we want.
Also on our show, we talked about Tim Otto. He is the reason why Ranji is the way he is. And I think we had some texts come in on the text line.
Yeah, we did. There was a texter who does not like you at all, who said you need to stop bullying me.
Yeah.
You got to stop
I
bullying
forgot.
me.
This texter said I was name calling, and I didn't remember, but I did call you a jerk.
But then they said,
Yeah.
texter from a 314, you are both so unprofessional.
What? Us?
Yeah. Well, Amy is.
You're way more unprofessional than I am.
That's not true. I care about these things. I care about keeping up a good image. That's why I'm indirect. All right.
Anyway.
What are we going to do here? Oh, I'll tell you what we're going to do. There were some developments, maybe one really big development from Texas, and we will tell you what that is when we come back on the show. It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. It's the final hour of the show before Dave Glover comes in at 1, and we hang out with him until 2 o'clock on KMOX.
Have you got your tickets yet for the DGS Live?
January 26th at the Wildy Theater in Edwardsville.
They're going fast.
It's an absolute riot.
The DGS Live.
January 26th.
For tickets or more info, KMOX.com/events.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get the power of doing it right. Detailed project proposals, excellent customer service, and trusted professionals who get the job done on time and on budget. The power of experience. We're kings of the scaffolding and pros with the stucco. We've been there, done that. Get your project started at CertaPro.com and get the power of pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Business is difficult right now, putting a lot of good workers at risk. If you're a business that needs flexibility with your workforce and don't want to lose your best employees, go to sharedwork.mo.gov and see what the Missouri Department of Labor can do for you.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Football's biggest game of the year is coming up February 12th. But if you're looking to travel in 2023, the biggest day of the year for you is February 4th because it's AAA Travel Marketplace. It's the super big, can't-miss travel event of the year. AAA Travel Marketplace features tons of cruise and tour partners all under one roof with limited-time special offers for huge savings on your next dream vacation. AAA Travel Marketplace takes place Saturday, February 4th from 9 a.m. till noon at the Holiday Inn at Watson and Lindbergh in Sunset Hills. Save the date and don't miss out.
1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. We're not here to sell you anything. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Tune in Saturday mornings at 10 right here on KMOX.
Snagging a Brewpub Lots of Matza pizza for your football party is big play worthy, but winning a year's worth of free Brewpub pizza, that's a game-winning touchdown. This is Kevin Wheeler, and the best frozen pizza is the Brewpub Lots of Matza pizza. It's loaded with award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese, quality meat and veggie toppings, a flavorful sauce, a thin crust. They're my favorite, and they're easy to find. So look for the Brewpub pizzas at your local grocer, and make sure you register to win a year's worth of Brewpub pizza, along with a bar-top pizza oven at KMOX.com/contests. Brewpub Lots of Matza pizzas.
Serving St. Louis for over 96 years. KMOX.
Amy and Chris on KMOX. As I mentioned, Dave Glover's coming up to 1. We're with them for that first hour. We welcome your text messages and voicemails. 314-436-7900 to call or text. If you just want to drop us a voicemail, though, always do that at 314-944-1120. We're on Twitter and why did I say it like that? We're on Twitter. We're on Twitter and Instagram at the show KMOX, and we like for you to reach out to us whenever you can or however you can. Last night was watching a little bit of CNN, and they had Shimon Prokupecz, who we've had on the show. In fact, we had him on a couple of months ago.
We should have him on again. He is.
We really need to get him on.
So
He's very good.
He is so good.
We talked to him about anytime there's a new bit of information that comes out regarding Uvalde, he has been on top of all of it. And more came out yesterday, footage of Chief Arredondo, who has been removed from his position as the chief of police in Uvalde. There was an interview that he was doing, not a news interview, but it was an in-house
with investigators
interview about what transpired the day before with the shooting. And it's a lot of it. It seems like every bit of information we get is disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's always something else. And this is part of that report from yesterday on CNN.
When we entered the building on the south entrance of that particular building where this occurred, that door, I know it was unlocked because I opened it. When I opened it, I saw a cloud of smoke. I had just heard the shots, right, because they were sporadic. It was a cloud of smoke, and I did see 1 or 2 bullets, casings moving still. So I ran in, and I don't know where that officer was at that point. I'm sure he was behind me somewhere. I know he wasn't in front of me. I don't know where he was behind me, but I know he was behind me. I do remember on the opposite side of the hallway, Lieutenant Javier Martinez was coming in. And we worked together forever, so I don't know if it was Javi. I don't know if someone was with him or not as we approached from where I'm sure I know he went into. I didn't see him going anywhere. The cloud of smoke was there, and I don't recall if I heard a door or not.
Okay, so you that's there. It's at Arredondo, and you have heard a lot of different. You've seen a lot of video, and you've heard a lot of things that have come from there, and you've seen the hundreds of law enforcement that were on the scene and were prevented from getting into the building to do something about it. this was maybe the most, and I believe I'm about to play the right one here, the most disturbing part for me of what I heard yesterday on the CNN report. And that was that they heard him in the classroom and they were trying to make some sort of contact and they thought they heard him reloading.
Throughout this deal, I was trying to make communication with him, called him out, asking him not to hurt anybody else anymore. Did it in English and did it in Spanish because we didn't know who he was. So I constantly was doing that as I had time, trying to get his attention, trying to get a response from him. I don't want to make the mistake of saying, but I'm certain I heard him reload. I heard something with a pin. Obviously, we all know what that sounds like. Not with a pin, I'm sorry, with a clip. I'm assuming he reloaded, but I know he did something with it. I did hear that at one time. I don't know if there was a second. He never responded at all. I never could get a response from him. That was happening throughout us being in there.
I mean, okay, so this is the Uvalde School Police Chief, Pete Arredondo, in an interview with investigators
the day after the May 22 massacre at Robb Elementary. Now, this is the only meeting that he had with the Texas Department of Public Safety. It was after this meeting he stopped cooperating with the DPS inquiry. And what he is explaining is his decision to abandon the training and protocol for an active shooter, a decision which left every student and teacher in classrooms 111 and 112 for dead. Look, I don't have
active shooter.
I don't have the fortitude to be a member of law enforcement. I fully acknowledge that. I know what their training is, though, in this regard, and we all know it because of how much attention we paid to it and have been paying attention to it, because there's so many damn school shootings. We have to know these things now. We can't escape it. So we know that they are trained to go in and neutralize the threat as quickly as possible and not to wait. To know then that is there a better time to engage an active shooter than when he's reloading?
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about guns, but I do know that that's the best time to go after. You know why? Because when somebody's reloading, they can't shoot back at you.
Yeah.
So if you think he's in that classroom and you think he is reloading his weapon and you're outside the door with guns and long guns, how do you not go in there?
Even after he stood with this decision for an hour, even after he heard him reloading and confirmed that children were trapped, injured, and alive.
And
as well
by
as
the way, never checked the door to see that it was unlocked, and investigators said it was. Just absolutely outrageous stuff. You're listening to KMOX.
Dave Glover.
I found a new kind of anger that I have.
A man not afraid to share his feelings.
Deli counter anger. I was in no particular hurry when I was at the deli counter, but it's just this guy. He's like, and he's taking his glasses and he's looking at it, and he's already had 3 different things. 3. You get 3, and that's it, and then you leave.
The Dave Glover Show. Weekdays beginning at 1.
You need somebody in the background to be like, you get nothing like it.
On KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res Carpet Cleaning. Happy New Year on behalf of Zero Res. And they are celebrating the new year by giving you a great January deal. Get this, 23% off all of our services. Of course, carpet cleaning, pre-treated and Zero Res clean with the 30-day gotta love it guarantee, upholstery, air ducts, anything that you need in your home that's going to make it more beautiful, more healthy, more livable for the winter months coming up. If your New Year's resolution has anything to do with just improving your home and improving your quality of life, which of course most of us do, check out Zero Res. We have a 4.9 rating on Google with over 4,300 reviews. Once again, big news. DGS special for January 2023 is 23% off all services. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Happy New Year.
Congress has authorized trillions in new spending, along with doubling the size of the the IRS agency in just the last few months. Do you think that is by accident? No, it is with a purpose to go after small businesses, employees, and individuals who have not filed or paid their taxes. If this is you, don't panic, just call. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee, which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
At 12:30, it's sunny and 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. The Federal Aviation Administration's computer outage affected countless travelers at airports nationwide. Jeff Dugdale was waiting on a flight at busy Charlotte Douglas International Airport in North Carolina.
It impacted me by delaying my flight. I was supposed to leave at 11, and now it went to 11:40, and now it's at 12:45, and I'm pretty well prepared. It's going to be longer than that.
With thousands of flights canceled and delayed, it could take several days for airlines to get their schedules back to normal. Bills safety Damar Hamlin has been released from a hospital in Buffalo after his doctor said they completed a series of tests a little over a week after he went into cardiac arrest and had to be resuscitated during the game at Cincinnati. Officials said a large fire that sent smoke plumes towering over a northern Illinois chemical plant has been contained and no injuries have been reported. We've got a stalled vehicle 270 east at West Florissant on the right shoulder and 6440 going west at Spirit of St. Louis Boulevard. The right lane is closed. And Dave Murray says a high today of 60 for tonight. Lots of clouds, some rain with a low 40 tomorrow. Rain in the morning, and then temperatures will drop from 45 early to 35 by late day. We'll stay above freezing. Right now it's sunny and 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. Sponsored by Mers Goodwill. Donate your vehicle today to Mers Goodwill and get 4 field box tickets to a 2023 Cardinals game. It's easy and towing is free. Donate online at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. Give hope, give local, give goodwill. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hi, Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Your BMW is worth more than ever before, so don't trust your maintenance to a bunch of amateurs. Come see the factory-trained technicians at Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or at newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Broadcasting from the underlined Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. Reed McCrory, Vice President and Private Wealth Advisor, and Jeff Burgess, President, both with Busey Wealth Management, join me in studio to help all of our followers get fiscally fit. They have advice on assessing your finances and creating a plan for your future. Listen to our January podcast, Building Community with Busey Bank, at KMOX.com/community banking.
What if everything you got came with a little bit of money? Spicy chicken ramen with a side of quarters, a full tank of gas, and a $5 bill, an entire pantry's worth of groceries, and a pocket full of cash. Well, then you'd be living life on the upside. The first platform that gives you real cash back in real life wherever you roll. Restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations, all cash back opportunities. So order the expensive appetizer, buy a little extra at the store, fill your gas tank till the pump stops. Because with Upside, you can. Start earning cash back just for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code SPICY for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code SPICY. Promo code SPICY, SPICY, for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Start living life on the upside with the free Upside app.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arnado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice. KMOX.
Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on the show on KMOX. Good to have you with us today. We just spent some time talking about Uvalde and the developments that continue to come out, and every single one of them, every time you hear it, is disturbing. it is not, and school shootings are not the only bit of gun violence that we deal with in this country. We see plenty of it here in the city of St. Louis, and there's so many different layers as to why things happen, how they happen, and what can be done to help curb the problem at least a little bit. Representative in Missouri, represents District 46, David Tyson Smith, is visiting with us today on KMOX, and he has introduced a bill into the session this year in the Missouri Congress, hoping that something happens, hoping to get something to happen here. And David Tyson Smith is joining us this afternoon. Good afternoon, David. We appreciate your time today.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm glad to be here.
Well, my first question for you is this bill that would prohibit the selling or purchasing of semi-automatic and fully automatic firearms. How is it similar or dissimilar to the bill that was recently signed by Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois yesterday? And that bill bans the sale, distribution, and manufacture of high-power assault weapons.
Well, my bill primarily deals with teenagers. So automatic weapons are automatically illegal by federal law now. But what this does is it says teenagers cannot go in and purchase semi-automatic weapons and assault weapons. Because what we saw in Uvalde, Texas, was a teenager, the gentleman waited until he was 18, purchased a semi-automatic rifle, and then went on a shooting spree. And the same thing that happened in Buffalo with someone shooting in a shopping center, and then we saw it in St. Louis as well. These are all teenagers that are buying these rifles, and there's no reason for a teenager to be doing that.
Yeah, that really, as you said, it happens around the country. A lot of the school shooters are very, very young. So how do I know the age of 21 is the age of it's an important age for a lot of different reasons. You know, you can drink at that time.
Sure.
It's an important age that we have determined. Is that how you reach the age of 20 here? Because you want people to be adults, like real adults. I know 18 is technically that, but you want people to have some time.
Yeah, absolutely. Some maturity. I mean, I'm not sure that the brain fully develops at 18. And one of the things I wanted to do was, so often there's this criticism of gun restriction bills that state, this bill wouldn't have stopped that, or they wouldn't have stopped this crime. And there's fairness in that. So there's a shooting, and then people file a whole host of bills. And if you really look at them or dig deep, for example, it may say, mental health treatment or mental health background search. Well, the person in question may not have had a mental health issue before that. So it wouldn't have really stopped that. So I wanted to do something that would have stopped this. And so this bill would have prevented all three of those shootings, because a young person couldn't just walk in unsupervised and buy these weapons. Now, I don't know who thinks that's a good idea on either side of the aisle.
Mm-hmm. Well, and how has this bill been received by your fellow legislators, both on the Republican and Democratic side?
Well, here's what's interesting about it. So I've never been the gun guy, and I know we're in a red state, so that's something that I shied away from. I didn't really want to be involved in something like this. But after the Uvalde shooting, which I was sick in, and I think most of America was sick to their stomach as well, seeing those children, blown apart, I put something out on Twitter, and I'm not a Twitter star. I don't have the blue check and all that, but I put something out on Twitter and said, I'm thinking about doing this. And I got over 3,000 responses. And, even one was, I'm a Republican, do this. And then I finally said, okay, I'm going to do it. And then I got basically the same amount of responses. And so when I talk to people, outside of the chamber, even legislators, it's not a bad idea. I was in the elevator with a gentleman today. He said, it's reasonable. I think everyone thinks it's reasonable, because I don't know anyone out there who thinks it's a good idea for this to happen. So I've been in discussions with members here. We're still talking about it, and I'm optimistic just because I think everyone has this sense that something needs to be done. It's reasonable. I love the Second Amendment. I'm not looking to stop it, but we've got to rein this in.
Right. And I think so often this discussion becomes so heated, becomes binary, that you're either pro Second Amendment or you're against the Second Amendment. And that really stops a lot of serious conversation from happening. Like you said, with this bill, which is directed at people 20 years old or under the age of 20 years old, or even red flag laws, that a red state like Florida passed a lot of red flag laws that were able to help prevent issues like this. Do you find that there are some in Jefferson City who have reasoned common sense conversations like this behind closed doors, but perhaps not so much in the public because of the nature of the debate?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's certain issues here in the House that, the automatic issues where if it's a gun issue, people have to vote one way and people have to vote another way. And there's several issues like that. But if you really dig deep into this and just think about it, it's very simple. And when I have these conversations, I haven't had anyone tell me about this specific issue. It's a bad idea. I have not had one person, Republican or Democrat, say this is a bad idea. And the interesting thing about this was I actually talked to someone who's would be a Trump voter down in a rural area and asked him about it first before I filed it. And he said, yeah, it's reasonable. I haven't found anyone yet tell me this is unreasonable. And we all know, and I think here's what's interesting. The drafters of the Second Amendment, I doubt they could foresee our cities and our country decaying to an extent where people were going in and murdering children. And I think if they thought that would happen, they would have set some parameters up to prevent this type of thing from happening.
I know that some of the pushback, if there's going to be any, is that, and I think you kind of touched on this earlier, that at least in my experience, what I've seen, people object to laws that don't solve the entire problem. Like people will say, well, okay, fine. You're not gonna prevent somebody who really wants to get a gun from getting a gun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Should that be a deterrent to passing laws that restrict being able to purchase a weapon?
I don't think so. And, it's an interesting point because I was on a talk show and someone called in, great caller, very smart. And he said, it's not going to solve all these other issues with crime and everything. Well, no, it's not. And no law is, and it's not supposed to. And there's other issues at play here. You have parenting. You want to make sure that, people are being educated by their parents about what they should and shouldn't be doing, but that's not always the case. But this would have prevented some of the issues. And I think, for example, Uvalde, this person who went in and bought this gun, I don't know that, and I don't know anything about the guy really other than what I've read, but I don't know that he would have had the wherewithal to go out maybe on the street and buy something in the black market. When people are going into just gun shops up the street and buying them, that's a problem.
Right. We are talking to Representative David Tyson Smith. He represents part of the city of Columbia and Boone County. And you talk about this bill you proposed and also say that you're pro-Second Amendment. And again, to me, that's the serious conversations that need to be had where we say this is not a binary issue, that you can be pro-Second Amendment and look at just some very basic common sense responsible restrictions on gun ownership. Do you find that when you are talking to people that it makes a difference to them or they understand that you yourself are pro-Second Amendment?
Absolutely. And I tell them that because I'm not looking to ban people's guns. I'm not looking to take guns away. And this bill doesn't prevent people from possessing guns. So, just like, fathers and sons go out hunting, they can continue to do that. Young people can still go to shooting ranges. It doesn't keep guns out of people's hands. But what it's designed to do is to prevent that unstable 17-year-old who's maybe living on his own, and he looks at the calendar and waits for the day he turns 18 and then goes in and buys an AK-47 and an AR-15 and boxes of ammunition. It's interesting. I went shooting with someone I know, a cousin of mine, and he had all these different weapons, 22s, AK-47s, and just the power of an AK-47. I thought, my goodness, whoever's on the other end of this is in big trouble. And I know that's sickening to talk about, but then when I heard about the Uvalde shooting and the rifles that were used, and they had to identify the bodies, the parents had trouble recognizing their children because of the force of these weapons. So we've got to stop that type of thing. But like I said, I think people should be able to have guns to protect themselves, protect their homes, go shooting, go hunting. I think that's great. But we don't need these young people out there going in and buying these assault rifles unsupervised.
Yeah, I think that one of my objections to any of the discussion regarding this stuff is I feel like we get lost in semantics conversations where, you want to get rid of this weapon or that weapon, and you call it an assault rifle. You call it an assault weapon, and the person goes, well, that's not an assault weapon. So we get lost in semantics. Do we need to clean up that language so that we can move forward, or will those goalposts always move?
I agree with you. What's interesting, when I was campaigning, I didn't have guns on my website because I didn't want to just, enter that fray and have people automatically, tune you out or assume you're this or that. I mean, I didn't come in here wanting to do that, but I agree. There's politically loaded phrases, assault rifles, assault weapons. Well, what is an assault rifle? I mean, that's a loaded phrase and it turns people off. So I go out of my way not to use terms like that, like assault weapon, assault rifle. Let's just talk about rifles and let's talk about, keeping them out of the hands of teenagers. So purchasing by themselves. So I agree. And I think we all get, one of the things about politics, people get dug into these issues. And I've been in the House about a year and a half, and I noticed that right away. It's like there's certain issues you're really not supposed to discuss, or if you do, you're supposed to vote a certain way. And people get angry if you start to change your opinion. And there's fear there. I mean, people are afraid to step outside of the box, and they're afraid to move in a certain direction they know is right for repercussion for. They may be removed from a committee or blackballed from their caucus. So I would encourage everyone to exercise courage and to do the right thing.
Representative Smith, before we let you go, a quick question on the likelihood of this bill passing and the timeline of that.
That's the $1 million question. I've been in discussions with people. I was talking to someone in the elevator today on the way up to the floor. I had a discussion with someone else in leadership yesterday about it. So we'll see. I mean, we're going back and forth. I mean, I know this is a very hot button issue, but the sense that I have in the building is that everyone knows that something needs to be done. And, I think people trust me in the building, and they know I'm not someone coming from the far left and an extremist. So I think if people continue to trust me, we may see some progress here. So I'm optimistic.
David, we appreciate your time today. Best of luck in this endeavor. And I personally am behind it, and I hope it goes through. I can't speak for everybody listening, but I certainly do. So good luck to you.
Hey, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate being here. Thank you both.
That is Missouri Representative David Tyson Smith of District number 46 here in the state. The Golden Globes were last night, and I totally forgot. Didn't even know they were happening.
No idea.
I shouldn't even say forgot because I didn't even know. There was an important appearance last night we'll tell you about when we come back on KMOX.
If you own a business and that business has 5 or more employees and you managed to survive the past couple of years, well, you need to go to getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com. You could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. Now, the hard part is knowing how to get your hands on it. How do you cut through the red tape? How do you make sure you've qualified, you fill out all the paperwork correctly, and you can get your business that refund money? Here's what you need to do. Go to getrefunds.com. The team of tax attorneys that they've put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. They've already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. They do all the work with no charge up front. So they simply share a percentage of the cash that they get for you. And that's the thing. This is a refund of your taxes. So this is not a loan. There's no cash that you have to pay back. It is a refund of your taxes. To find out if your business qualifies, just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited amount of time, so don't wait. Getrefunds.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Bertie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-5555. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, behind on taxes houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-5555. That's 314-782-5555.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. In 2016, one of my employees accidentally clicked through an online vendor's contract, which recommitted my company to an additional 12 months of their service. I called the vendor to explain the accident. Nope. They pointed to their ironclad contract, told me to pay or else. I will pay them, but after 12 months, I'm gone. I've been in business over 30 years, and I've never made my customers sign a long-term contract. Never. And now, my fifth successful company, Patriot Software, offers payroll to business owners with 1 to 100 employees, and there's no long-term contract. And if you need help with your payroll, we will help you for free. Go to PatriotSoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
Track your blood donations right from the palm of your hand and stay updated on special promotions. Download the American Red Cross Blood Donor app today. To learn more, go to redcross.org.
Amy Marks scores.
Fabulous.
Chris Ranji.
Unbelievable.
On the show.
We're told that the abandoned vehicle was repossessed.
Well, we know that.
Yeah.
We knew that.
That's the explanation we were given.
But I mean,
we don't know who called to repossess it.
Did the call come from City Hall? Like, hey,
I don't know.
Somebody come get this car.
I don't know. I can't decide if I miss it or not. Part of me feels like I do.
I feel like a couple more days, because I do think the Christmas tree topper that was gold with the twinkling lights was really going to be beautiful. Yeah. Honestly, I feel a little sad about it.
I was envisioning this going on for another 2 months and how many beautiful decorations would be on it.
See, I didn't think it would last months. I thought it would last a few days.
Well, it's already been months. Why wouldn't it be more?
Because once people, as Les Sturman was saying, people don't like a squeaky wheel. The same...
Are we the squeaky wheel?
Yes, the same algorithm that got this car towed is the same algorithm that Twitter used to kick people off Twitter. Literally. It's just the squeaky wheel. Who's making people upset? Let's get rid of the problem and continue on. There's as much thought that went into getting that car towed.
We're not misinformation peddlers, though.
No, but do you understand what I'm saying? Is the
yes, you are. You're part of the media.
The motivation to tow that car was not that they cared or on principle. It was just stop already. And the same motivation to kick certain accounts off Twitter were just, all right, people are complaining about this. Let's just move on. There's no actual principle, because Twitter does what's good for Twitter and Facebook does what's good for Facebook. They don't have principles. They have a bottom line.
Amy, last night, the Golden Globe Awards came back. They were off for that year, all of 21, or they happened. They just weren't televised. So they did come back last night. And there was an important address from President Volodymyr Zelensky. It was a recorded speech that was played to the audience and to the broadcast, and it was introduced by Sean Penn. And we've heard a lot from Zelensky over the months, almost a year now, since his country was invaded by Russia. And he made a declaration in that speech last night that I thought was kind of, I don't know if important is the right word, but at least struck a nerve with a lot of people.
The First World War claimed millions of lives. The Second World War claimed tens of millions of them. There will be no Third World War. It is not a trilogy. Ukraine will stop the Russian aggression on our land. We will make it together with the whole free world. And I hope that all of you will be with us on the victorious day, the day of our victory. Slava Ukraini.
Now, that could just be, you know how world leaders, they try to be boastful and they try to present optimism. What else can you possibly do when you're facing what he and his country is facing? Do you think he's correct that we are not actually going to head to a third world war? Because you do look back on history, and a lot of these times, World War I, World War II, the United States thought, we're not getting involved in all that. Like,
right.
Maybe, here's a little assistance, but we're not sending troops. None of that's going to happen. And then they ultimately got dragged into it and didn't have a choice.
Yeah, no, I do think he's right. Although, like, what do I know? I'm in St. Louis here in Studio B, just saying, there's not going to be a third world war. I am that person. Perhaps that's the conservative in me that is just, I'm always like, okay, let's take things in, let's slow down, let's look at what's happening before we freak out, whatever. And I say conservative meaning just like not quick to action, if that makes sense.
You're always so measured and reasonable.
Yes, I'm always so measured and reasonable. But that side of, okay, we're not going to get crazy talking about the end of the world. What I do think is he has to be a leader who has a positive message, who continues to get that message out, because when it came to I'm going to use the word propaganda, which sounds negative, but it's positive too, the propaganda battle, he won. I mean, he won from the get-go. He was on social media. He had his face out there. He won the world over, and he's continuing that and speaking to the Hollywood elites, which may, think, well, why is he talking to Hollywood? What can they do? Well, it continues with the message. He's speaking to people with massive platforms and continue to get that message out.
And he knew it was going to get broadcast too.
Yes.
And he knew we were going to see it.
He knows how to get his message out. He knows how to win
and he should.
Small p propaganda war.
He has to use every tool at his country was invaded.
Yes.
By a country that is committing war crimes, literal war crimes in his country.
Every single day. And just because we don't talk about it, we haven't talked about Ukraine today, doesn't mean it's not happening. They are going scorched earth in Ukraine. Russia is right now.
Because it didn't go as well as they thought it was going to go and as quickly as they thought it was going to go. So now they're behaving like this. But it's war crimes. Awful. Amy Markscore's Chris Ranji. This is the show. Dave Glover is coming in. We'll stick around for the 1 o'clock hour on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust.